it foggy outside. All the planes have been grounded. Ain't the fire inside? Let's all go stand around it. Funny, I've been there, and you've been here. We ain't had no time to drink that beer.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Sandman podcast. I am your host, Brian W. Tosh, joined as always by our resident hack checker, Oliver Fullington.
Yo!
Our producer and co-host, El Hilo Del Hack, Tyler Fullington. And the man whose stories got stories, the hardcore icon. He's got 99 problems, but bananas ain't one. The Sandman. Hack, how the hell's it going today?
Well, I just woke up from like a 3-day nap because I had to go to LA last weekend and find out the Sixers have now lost 9 in a row. Embiid should be shut down. Paul should be shut down. And they're trying to ban the tush push.
Well, Hack, good news is Paul George is no longer podcasting the rest of this year, so we could focus.
Who do you think told him to, maybe want to kill him? If he had 1 point and we're down by 50 in that game, maybe you need. I wonder who said it to him.
I don't know. I mean, they've lost to some bad teams, too. Like, they lost to the Bulls, they lost to the Nets. Like,
I know, but to me, it's like, dude, he's not playing bad because he's podcasting.
No.
It's just bad
No, but
optics.
it's a bad look, especially after they had him on vacation during they took the picture of him and his wife.
That's not.
I know, whatever, but it's.
I know, it's like, dude, you're
it's
on
a
vacation.
pile.
Like,
right,
he
and
can do
he's
whatever
break.
the fuck he wants.
Right, and
like,
it's his break time from playing. Like,
I hated that people got mad at him for that. It's
Well,
like,
so do I, but it's just general perception. It's not perception for like guys like us that are hardcore and we know better. You know what I mean?
right.
It's for the fucking water cooler people at freaking the office.
yeah, it's just so disappointing, and coming to the realization that Embiid, this may never get better. I mean, when they're talking about taking something from his hip to then merge to his knee with the surgery, I mean, all of it just sounds
Now the
so
cadaver
bad.
thing sounds better. And they're actually shooting a gel into people now too. That I was reading something about earlier today. That you could stick a gel in there instead of what's the meniscus? Is it?
Yeah.
Is that what he has none left?
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah. There's like some gel or something. I don't know.
Well, I wonder how like applicable those theories are. A, because who knows how much meniscus, if he has any meniscus left, and B, I don't know if those theories work with 7'2", 300-pound guys as well. Like, they may or may not, but I can't imagine all things would work for guys like me and you or other, or for a guy like him. Lonzo Ball just went through. He got his meniscus replaced, and he sat out. He had problems. 2 years. 2 years. Yeah.
Yeah,
and
he had a setback as well.
7 foot, and 300 pounds. Right.
But the hip thing,
That's not even worth it to me.
Well, I know, but if you look, that could technically fix everything. All right, the guy's got to change his whole gait. Well, what are we doing
what else
with him
chance
now?
do we got? Yeah,
right,
I mean,
we're gonna start playing him in May.
If you're
every year.
If you're Joel Embiid, do you want to break your hips to realign?
Well, it's not somebody's not getting a sledgehammer.
I know that. Well, I think all options are shitty options at this point.
There are no good options. Yes.
Yeah,
like take Chase Utley when we thought he was done. He started going to a chiropractor when we sent him out to LA, wherever the hell we sent him to, and got like 4 more years out of him. They realigned his whole body. He was bow-legged. They changed his gait, his running style, everything, because they had to realign him to set everything up.
But at that point, Hack, like, if we're talking about surgery, which seems like it's the course that it's going to take with Embiid, if we're talking surgeries, the likelihood that he plays to start next year, I would say, is extremely low. Like, I don't think Joel Embiid will be on the court to start next season for the Sixers. I think it's more likely he has a surgery that probably pushes his start date back to, like, late November, Christmas time next year. I just see this being the course that it takes. And then I'm like, for the future of him, is he just going to be like a 25-minute, 20-minute a game guy and you take what you can get from him? Because
no, you just don't even play him until freaking May.
But then you're going to be behind the 8 ball, like trying to chase the play-in.
Well, obviously, it's like freaking everybody knows that's the new way now. Everybody, like LeBron started it with getting his rest, and then remember what the guy Pop was doing it, and he was getting heat because the stars weren't playing on games on the road and stuff like that.
He's the one who originated it with Duncan and Ginobili and Parker or whatever.
And it's smart. It's smart to preserve the talents. I mean, if you look at baseball, right? Pitchers don't throw the amount of pitches and innings that they used to because you're trying to preserve the asset. If you're trying to preserve the asset in basketball, it's a little different. And I think part of it's like you don't know whether he's going to have swelling. If you don't know if he's going to have pain in there one day to the next. And I just question what level of play that you're going to be able to get from Joel Embiid going forward. I'm really skeptical, and it's a shame because he's obviously had like a Hall of Fame level career in terms of his star and his performance. He had an MVP season. There was a couple other years where he was right in the mix for MVPs if he didn't get hurt.
Dude.
Yeah, it's insane.
Dude, when he went out before, I guess it was last year or whatever, he was averaging 36, 12, and 5.
Insane.
In 32 minutes.
Yeah, insane numbers. Insane numbers. And
Which is ridiculous. And I don't know what course they're going to get. So what I heard is that what they're trying to do is, like by letting him play and then, seeing how the things react. Apparently, like a lot of players deal with what he's got going on. It's just all about pain tolerance, how you're
to take a shot every game.
Right, your body recovery period, and obviously not all of those guys are the stature that Joel Embiid is. Now, I don't know the course of action that they can take or will take or whatever it is, but the Sixers, to me, don't seem like they're willing to just bite the bullet and sit them for whatever amount it takes. And I know Joel probably has a say in that. Like, he wants to play, obviously. Like, I halfway feel bad for him and I halfway don't because he's obviously played through a lot of different things. The broken
faces.
Yeah, and all this stuff like Bell's palsy. Yeah, like I can't sit. Like a lot of people call him soft.
No, I feel bad for him. I feel bad for him.
And he's not soft,
no.
But I'm not completely absolving him of some things
is absolving him saying he shouldn't have played in the Olympics?
Well, not only that, and maybe other times where he could have or should have sat out when he did. So, like, I give him credit for trying to play and through pain and do all those other things. And I mean, he did himself no favors early in his career with his diet and his workout regimen and everything
early beginnings
and everything like that. So I can fault him for those things, but for the people that call him soft, like that dude's played through a lot of stuff. Like, so in one hand, I see like he does accept some fault for the way that he's trained over the years and dieted and all that other stuff. Did all the things capable of keeping somebody of his stature.
A little bit once he got his kid.
Totally.
Right, and I think maybe at that point it might have been a little bit too late, but
he's already 6 years in at that point to sitting.
No, it's just a shame because now older and bigger doesn't age well, and especially with injuries. So now you have this contract extension that starts next year with him, and it's like, man, things are just not looking good for this franchise. Because on top of that, then you have Paul George's contract.
Wait a minute, we got into. I thought Embiid was signed for like 5 more years.
It's 3 more after this year. So that's the extension.
Yeah, the extension doesn't kick it. This is his existing contract. Gotcha. The extension doesn't start till like the following year.
What that is?
It's the max. He's making like 50, 60 a year.
Yeah,
that's me entirely.
It's 3 years, $190 million.
Yeah, he's chewing up a ton of your cap space, and it's not the kind of contract that you could see some other team being able to move for.
You need 3 teams to make that deal.
I don't even know what team would theoretically want a Joel Embiid at this point. If you're Wizards or something.
Everyone would take him.
Anyone in the league would want him at that point.
Lucky to get 2 first
No, he's pretty much untradeable at this point. The only thing I can see them doing is
we could pay a lot of his contract too.
Well, yeah, but the only thing I can see them doing is getting rid of Paul George, and I heard he's obviously a West Coast guy and wants to be in the West.
1 year deal.
It's 3 more after this for him as well.
But if they want to get out of that, if they want to try and get out of that,
He might want to get out of that.
Well, George is a West Coast dude,
Right.
and apparently Durant is probably on the outs in Phoenix. So they're
Just because of the shit that they pretty much...
they tried trade. I don't know if they tried trading him, but he was in talks in the trade
I'm
deadline
pretty
this
sure they
year.
tried.
Shit's not working all. So
And he didn't even know it.
He didn't even want to go. Apparently, he didn't want to leave there.
But Durant is a Northeast dude. That's why he went to Brooklyn originally. But that whole thing fell apart.
He does own some of the union.
He is
I
a part
mean,
owner in the Philadelphia Union, from Washington D.C. So if you want to maybe try and get out of the Paul George thing and flip him for Durant, that's something I can possibly see them doing.
I
in
don't
the
think Phoenix
off-season.
would. I don't. Phoenix wouldn't do that. They would want more for him.
Well, I'm not saying like
Yeah,
one
yeah,
for
yeah,
one. I'm just saying like
Part of a package to get
in
there.
a theory. Because you got to make the money work somehow.
Yeah.
So
That's
and
the hard thing.
Phoenix needs somebody to make the money for Durant work, and we need somebody to make the money work for Paul George. So theoretically, that is an
Alright.
option that
I like that thinking.
It's
though,
money for
because
money.
The money has to work. Or
Right.
It just ain't happening.
Durant at his age is. I mean, he's balling
he's
out.
better than fucking
He's
Paul George.
He's balling out. No, I mean, he's still putting up 30-some a game. Like, and he's just not in a good spot either because it's just him and Devin Booker, and Booker's been hurt a lot, and obviously
and Beal's
Bradley
got that
Beal,
abominable contract,
which
that he got.
it might be one of the only contracts worse than Joel Embiid's in the NBA. I don't
Yeah.
know if I was ranking like the worst contracts, but
well,
man,
at
it's
least Beal
just,
plays, but
I mean, if the Sixers have to move forward with Joel on the court like next season, there has to be like a philosophy change with it's not Joel's team anymore.
yeah.
Like he has to move into more of a backseat kind of role, and it has to be Maxey and McCain's team.
so with Maxey is to me at least with Maxey, and I know he had the great
Like, we're
series.
not going down the court and giving you the ball. Like you're not the first guy to like you set screens, you roll,
Right.
you rebound. Like obviously he still has to score and do everything, but dude,
No,
this
you-
is
yeah,
Maxey
that
and
You
McCain's
do that
team
to
now.
him, he will play at the 3-point line on both fucking.
He already does. So, but he doesn't have a choice. Like, dude, you don't play enough games for us to have an
That's
offense focused on you. The offense has to be focused through Maxey now. And when you can play, and there are times in games where you may be dominant, fine. You know what I'm saying? But Maxey's the one who plays 82 games a year. So, like, as a team philosophy, like, this is the way that we need to go.
Now,
Well, or if you get your team right, it's like not like when Embiid's taking a break, that's Maxey's time. When Maxey's taking a break, that's Embiid time. You
Sure.
know what I'm saying? But it's hard to like get the other 8 guys fucking that you need to pull that off.
my only concern with Maxey and just giving him the keys to the team is that I feel as if he has started.
Not if Joe's here, he's not getting the keys.
I agree.
He's just not. Because I look at Joe as like the way winning time treated fucking Kareem in the locker room.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
It's
Like,
his.
Yeah, but he doesn't have a choice. He's not going to have a choice.
My only issue with Maxey.
Well, like Magic, the way Magic ripped it from him.
Well, but my issue with Maxey too is that as you've been seeing him carry this load for this team this year, it seems as if he's hit a wall over the last like 10, 15 games or so. He
had those 8-9 games at 30 points in a row.
right, but then he had a lot of stinkers too, where he had the
hurt.
one game against, I think it was either the Nets. He had just an atrocious game, maybe the worst game I've ever seen him play, and just a bad night. And it's like because he's forced to carry so much of this. And in the NBA, you
I
got
watched
to
that game. He had like 3 points in the first half. He couldn't make a damn shot.
Yeah.
right, and it just was a bad night for him. And I think part of that is because he's been responsible for so much of the burden of this team's offense. And it's like Maxey too is undersized. He's not giving you the great. He's not.
Size doesn't mean anything.
Well, he's not a great 3-point shooter. He's good. He's not great. And
What's he shoot, like 38% or something?
He's probably around
It's
that.
around there. He's not great, and I think of Maxey as like a great like B+ player. I think
He's not great defensively at all.
no. And then McCain.
Hold on. Who's a great 3-point shooter if Maxey's not a great 3-point shooter?
There's
Somebody that shoots
there's
42%.
there's a lot better shooters. He's good at threes. He's not great. He's not great at threes, Holly. I mean, he's good.
Look up the stats.
I think of him as a B+ player. I'm not hating on him.
He can't. Well, and the thing is, he can't shoot threes from all over the field either. He don't shoot the corner three. He just doesn't.
What the fuck are we talking about right now, guys?
Yeah, I disagree about
What
that.
are we talking about right now?
I think he can score
Are
from
we
anywhere on the
watching the
court.
same player?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he can score from anywhere on the court.
All right. Well, that's.
I don't think, dude. I don't see how often you see him take a corner three. Never.
Well, that's not. That's
He's
not,
not supposed
that's
to
not,
be in the corner.
Yeah, that's he's
True.
That's not.
Fast breakdown.
Those are more for wing guys.
He's
and
not
stuff
supposed
for-
to be in the corner.
for the corner.
I don't entirely disagree with your thought process, Tosh, on like maybe or maybe not. We don't know if he can carry a team. I think right now it's a little
What choice
bit.
do we have?
It's a little
The
bit.
only option we got.
We don't have a choice, and that's he
well,
might be our
I have
most
a point-
tradable.
I have a point that
No.
I'm getting to.
He might be our most tradable asset. As much as I like Maxey.
Well, yeah, that's
Yeah, but nobody's giving us two ones for him.
But you're not trading him. The only thing I'm talking about is we don't know if he can carry a team right now. Right now, at this point, it's unfair. It's unfair for us to say whether he can or can't because the team
doesn't have anything
that
else.
they have right now with all the players that have been injured going in and out, we've had the most different starting lineups in the league. I think with like 40 something or so.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Like Yabusele's in and out of the lineup, Drummond's in and out of the lineup, Eric Gordon's in and out of the lineup. Now he's hurt. We got rookies and two-way players coming up, down, in, out. The only consistency that they've had is pretty much Kelly Oubre and Maxey. So, like, I can't... I mean, the burden that you're carrying as Maxey, I understand, like, but for him, he's got new guys coming in and out of the lineup every which way. I just think it's a little premature and unfair to say that, like, if he had a consistent, cohesive unit where they knew, like, who was going to be on the court, maybe he could be that guy to lead.
We don't know.
So,
We don't
like,
know, yeah.
So, like, in theory, like, there is a point where, like, I could, like, you could be right. Like, but as of currently constructed, this team, the way that they've just been up and down and in and out injury-wise, I think that's a little bit unfair.
It's
to
just
say at this
disappointing
point.
for all the fans. I mean, like, we came in this year, I know we had expectations with getting Paul George. We were like, all right, let's give it another go. And it just...
I didn't want him at all.
it was our best option.
Well, yeah.
It was the best of the options that we had to do. It was the best of the choices that we had. Like I don't necessarily blame Morey for that, and I don't blame Nick Nurse, even though both of them may lose their jobs from the performance. I don't blame them for the results of this season either. It's just it's unfortunate.
This season's just a clusterfuck.
It's a clusterfuck, and a lot of times people lose their jobs over clusterfucks, regardless of if they're the one at fault for it. But it just sucks, man.
All right, Ollie, give us Maxey stats. Well, I saw you just pulled them.
I could see Morey going before Nurse.
Yes, I can too.
I can too, and I recently heard it was Bill Simmons who floated it out there. Bob Myers, who used to be the Warriors GM, was involved heavily with the front office of the Harris, the owner of the Sixers,
the Commanders, right?
With the Commanders' search for their coaching and everything,
And their GM, I think.
their GM. So he was heavily involved there. Bob Myers is the guy who stepped away from the Warriors. Pretty much can have his choice of jobs out there. I don't know if this would be a job that he would necessarily want to take on. But
it's tough right now considering the whole Embiid situation.
Right,
because,
you're walking into a mess.
The uncertainty up in the air of his whole, injuries and everything that go on.
The biggest thing about Nurse to me is I didn't like the way he answered the one question. He goes, the reporter's like, yeah, dude, it's about time to sit George and Joe. He's like, well, we're not there yet.
It's not his call.
Our organization's not there.
I think Ty's right.
hated that answer.
I think Ty's right. It's not his call ultimately. I mean, that's going to go elsewhere.
Yeah, I don't know if there's much he can say because that comes from up top. That's a Morey and Elton Brand and management decision. Nurse isn't going to go to Morey hey, I think it's time we shut these guys down for the year. Obviously he's involved in those conversations, but ultimately at the end of the day, I don't think that's his call. Nick Nurse kind of looks like how Brett Brown was looking at the end of that situation. Brett Brown looked 35 when he started coaching the Sixers, and then looked 78 at his last year.
Suppose it was the coach, the guy who's been in Miami for
Spoelstra.
Yeah, suppose it was him. Would he have more say?
Well, yeah, I think he has.
I don't know.
I think Spoelstra's more.
Yes, but that's also Pat Riley at the top.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, you're right.
So, like, on any other organization, he might have more
That's
say,
true.
but, like,
What
Pat
about
Riley's,
Pop?
like, Pop has carte blanche, I would think.
Yeah.
But not too many coaches do.
I don't understand the people that want Nick Nurse fired.
I'm not blaming him for this mess at all. I think he's a good
just
coach.
sometimes people get a raw deal and he may be fired, whether it's right or wrong, I think is more or less what we're saying.
I don't think he really has anything to do with anything that's going on.
Me neither.
Yeah, I
but
don't think he
17
does
games
either.
under 500 when you're supposed to be a playoff team is a failure.
Yeah, but you're missing the MVP.
I know that.
Oh,
Hack.
yeah.
I'm not blaming him.
We're more or less talking devil's advocate
Yeah.
than anything
Yeah,
else.
it's
Like, I
like-
don't think any of us believe that because he's got a shit deal.
And it's like Nurse can't make the guys go out and play hard.
No, he can't.
Right.
Listen, this is just
Right. But what we're saying is, like, sometimes situations like this just end up getting a coach
If
fired.
anything,
like,
it should be Morey, I think.
right.
Yeah.
I think he deserves to be fired.
At this point, I'd rather have Harden still than Paul George.
I would too. I would.
Dude, I couldn't
Should
imagine
have just
going.
paid Harden.
But
I
I think that was above Morey's. I think if it was a strictly Morey decision, Harden would be here. Harden would have got that extension. I think Harris and them said no.
Yeah, but then why would he go over into China and bury him? And he said it twice in a
Well,
row.
because
he should really know that it was a Dallas call.
I think.
Yeah, but he also could just be being a petty little bitch,
I think.
or Morey not throwing his ownership underneath the bus and bought the bullet and say, I just can't. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like Morey
Morey
kind
wasn't
of saving
honest.
his own job by not putting the ownership under the bus and just say, you know.
Yeah, what's he gonna say? Sorry, dude, it's them. And Harden will come right out and say, said that to me.
Right, exactly. So,
Yeah, Morey ultimately wasn't honest to Harden, I think, which was part of their falling out.
well, I think he meant to be, but
And then things changed.
right.
So-
Well, yeah, things fucking changed when Harden was coming down the court and dribbling the ball for the first freaking 15 seconds of every shot clock.
I'll give him credit though.
He also won us game 1 in Boston without Joe.
Yeah, he did. He was Eddie jammed in that game.
And to Harden's credit, right now, with not much of a semblance of a team in the Clippers, he's got him in a playoff position, kind of
Yep.
single-handedly. So he
Yeah.
is playing really well
No,
right
he
now.
is.
And listen, I wasn't.
Why, is he on the contract here?
No.
No, they gave him a fucking
And
an
he's with
extension or
one of
whatever.
his buddies, right?
Listen,
But isn't somebody hurt on that team?
Kawhi's hurt.
yeah, Kawhi's hurt, but like for me, like I'm not gonna lie, I didn't want to give him like a full max or whatever, but right
I
now.
was pissed. I'm
No, I didn't want to either.
But right now, the way that it's turning out, and listen, like, I was okay with the Paul George thing. It's just, dude, it just didn't fucking work out. And,
Yeah,
you know,
look, this Sixers, man, the last decade has been like just wrong decision after wrong decision.
Dude,
And
the
just
luckiest thing that's happened in Philadelphia for them is the Eagles being in 3 Super Bowls.
no, you're right, Hack.
You
It
know
took a
what I'm
lot of the
saying?
heat off them.
Like, we haven't talked about the Sixers basically at all up until now because now there's nothing else.
And the funny thing is like we're not even like it's beyond anger. Like it's
No,
like
yeah, we're
it's
in a
just-
different stage of
yeah,
grief.
like it's like disgust and like just like ugh.
Yeah,
like
It's just like, get away.
Yeah.
yeah, like I hate like we hate watch.
We do. We
yeah,
watch
like
it
we just
still,
hate
or-
watch.
yeah,
like
we-
last night I was watching against the Knicks and like rooting for them to win, even though we really don't want to
They
win. But
played
I was
well
like,
last night. They played well.
Yeah,
they played
and
hard.
I was like, fuck.
Brunson squashed us for 13 points.
fucking dude, that guy gets so many calls. It's disgusting. He must have
I was
pictures
saying
on the
last
refs.
night. I was saying last night to my buddy Rory too. It's like, you know what? The Mavs GM gets a lot of heat for trading Luka, and he deserves it for that trade. But he doesn't get enough heat for letting Brunson out of that building originally. Like,
Well, that wasn't him.
No, it was. He was the GM there. He was the GM there. He's
Wasn't it Cuban still?
No. This GM has still been the GM that time.
Owner.
Cuban was the owner. They let.
And he had just sold anyway this year.
Oh, this
They-
GM was still the
Yeah,
GM.
they let Brunson out of the building, and like no one knew Brunson would become this. But
I was going to say
at the same time,
Brunson had a good playoff series that year, but Brunson wasn't this Brunson.
no, Brunson went up
so-
like 2 levels since then. But you still let him
Right.
leave the building when you had him because you didn't want to match the Knicks offer.
Well, dude, you probably don't even have Kyrie. You might not even have what.
They had Porzingis, Brunson, and Luka.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, pretty damn good. Pretty damn good is what you had, and now look at what you have. So, man, just
Last thing I want to say is I was telling the boys last night or something. We're talking about buying tickets because they're cheap now for the Sixers.
yeah,
right?
why not?
So we were looking at dates, and the one that I could do was the Indiana in a couple weekends or something. Call my 17-year-old. I'm like, yeah, we're gonna go to the Sixers game in Indiana. He's like, I ain't going.
Wow, they're that uncool. 17-year-old doesn't want to spend his.
He's like, I don't want to go to that. I'm like, what?
A 17-year-old doesn't want to spend a
That's
Saturday
so-
night while
right,
watching the
so
Like
Sixers.
fully paid for it
Yeah.
all. Like it's not like
Yeah, cartridges, liquor. What's that?
yeah. He's like I'd rather have a party at my house and get laid.
Party in my if you were him, would you want to go?
Yeah, right.
Oh,
Mansion
God.
to himself every night.
Wow. All right, that's just our Sixers commiseration.
Yeah, it's been really good for the past 6 months, so you guys can pile on now for this
we
dog
thought we were going
shit.
to talk about this for a couple minutes, but
it's been a big bitch fest here.
Listen, I don't know if any of us really got the vent, so that was good. So
Yeah,
that
we
was
got it
good.
out of our
Yeah.
system. It was healthy. It was healthy.
Yeah, that was good.
I know, Hack. You guys, we all had the chance to watch the first 2 episodes of WWE's Legends and Future Greats series that's airing on A&E, and it's an interesting look at a lot of talent that they've signed. It's primarily like a lot of like NIL talents that come from colleges, and it's a real interesting look at some of these performers as they're starting the beginnings of their career. So, Hack, what were your thoughts on watching?
First, I love the show, but I'm pretty sure I loved the one when I was Did the Miz win the first one or the second one?
This is Tough Enough. It's similar to the Tough
I
Enough
know,
concept.
but that's how I put it in my head.
Right.
Same thing with the first MMA when we thought Kimbo was going to be a
The
killer.
Ultimate Fighter. The Ultimate Fighter.
The
you're
first
talking
one I
about.
think was Maven, wasn't it?
It was Maven and Nydia who won the original Tough Enough,
Yeah,
and it's
or
similar
whatever.
concept to that.
Yeah, but I don't know. Did they have it set up with like 4 like superstars like coaching those dudes?
Not.
Or was it?
They had trainers and stuff. I think it was like Al Snow and Hardcore Holly.
That would make sense.
I think Prince Albert still might have been there doing that one too.
He
in the
might have
time.
been. Yeah,
Like,
Albert has
No,
been.
he's been there for a long time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And who was the other one? Terry Taylor that I saw.
Terry Taylor was
Yeah.
there. Yeah, he still
Talking to the
survives.
dude right before he went
There was
to
a Fit
the-
Finley
Yeah.
sighting that
Yeah, Fit
that we
Finley.
saw.
Is that Terry?
Yeah, I mean that Terry Taylor still surviving.
We'll talk about him as the worst gimmicks. I was screwed with him. That was a straight rib.
But heck, like watching this, and the interesting thing to me was that it's so cool to see a lot of these talents as they're starting that beginning part of their career, and especially with the talent that they included on this series, you can see the why in behind like the reason that most of these talents were signed. They have unique looks, they have athletic backgrounds.
Well, dude, every single one of them is like almost a premier athlete in some other former sport,
Yes.
and or
Superstar
like
cheerleader, the other dude, the wrestler, the other dude that I didn't really like. With there was like 2 or 3 dudes that were
collegiate
the one
wrestler.
for Duke and the one for Stanford.
Yeah, collegiate wrestlers. The one chick.
Middle linebacker for Stanford.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one chick TMS is an Olympic wrestler, the gold medalist Olympic
Yeah,
wrestler.
Tyra, whatever.
Evander Holyfield's
Red, white, and blue.
Evander Holyfield's kid was a running back for the Eagles for like a year or
and
two.
Georgia, he was down at Georgia
Yeah, he's at
playing.
Georgia, like doing that. Like these are all like super elite athletes, and it's like it's great to see them now come into the professional wrestling world, and you hear some of them say like, "Man, I didn't expect it to be this difficult." Like, and they're premier athletes in other sports. Like, it's nice to hear. I mean, like not necessarily for me, but I'm sure like for Hack or maybe other former like professional wrestlers to watch. Like, hey man, like it's not really as easy as you think. Now, Hack, I know it's probably a little bit different back. Like the training is probably
I totally
like
get where they're feeling and what they're feeling. I did like the first time, Ron Shaw was the first one, but I think maybe Ivan Koloff was like the biggest first star, maybe like him or Stu. Dude, I'm shitting myself going out there.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I'm like fucking stiff as a board. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh my god, what am I doing? You know what I mean? It's so I get that, and I love it when the Undertaker like turned to Bubba or something, and he goes, "Fuck, dude, I couldn't imagine how nervous I would have been if I was doing this in front of Bruno Sammartino
or Ric
whoever he
Flair
said.
or whatever."
It's like a
Yeah.
Harley race or Ric
Yeah.
Flair.
And dude, I got goosebumps now, and if you don't feel, if it doesn't feel like that to you, then fucking, you probably shouldn't be there.
Right. Yeah.
Right. And I think it's really interesting, like the talents that they have in this show too. It's like I could see a lot of star potential in a lot of these people, and it's interesting to me that they're focusing them on television before they're ready. Now, like, do you think that could be a little bit of a detrimental aspect to some of their careers, where it's like you're showing them before they get to, you're showing some of their flaws out there?
Dude, because nobody will even freaking 6 years from now
remember this. Yeah.
Say on that. He's in a total gimmick. He looks total different. He's got short hair. He had long hair then. The one guy didn't have a tooth in this one, but he'll have a tooth freaking 5 years from now.
Like, if anything, I think it'll be looked at in a positive way if, like, somebody becomes a star of this, because it'll be, if they had a big mess up in this show, let's say, it'll be, well, look how far they came from where they were in the show to where they are now.
Well, not only that, but I also think people who are watching the show, and if some of these people end up going on to like bigger and better things, where you could be like, man, I remember watching that guy when he was just like, so and so, and this, that, and the other thing. And like, obviously, when you watch wrestling, you're suspending reality as it is. So you're not going to go back and be like, nah, that guy's just a football player from Stanford. I can't believe it with his gimmick now. 5 years later. So like, in totality, I think it's a good thing that dude, you're giving an insight to a bunch of other people, and I think not only people that are there in the performance center who may not have a chance to be the 16 that they've chosen, but just people on indie circuits now watching it can watch the show and pick up things that they might be getting taught themselves and take it in. It might not be them personally, but it could be, they could see Bubba or Undertaker giving somebody else advice, but also take that advice in as themselves, and that could help them along, in their own careers and not even be on the show.
Absolutely. Like, I think if you're an aspiring wrestler out there, I think it'd be a really good show to watch just to see what WWE wants to look for.
Sure.
Like, if you're trying to if that's your career goal to get there, watch what they're asking and watch what they're looking for, because...
Especially Bubba.
Well, Bubba, Taker. Let's get to Bubba for a second, because we were talking. Okay.
He's going to talk about.
Okay.
Yeah, fuck. The one was which one is the dude that is going out with the Dupree chick? Is that the original guy in the match? Is that Shiloh?
No,
the guy who worked against Shiloh.
Anthony, right?
Yeah.
Anthony Luke or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, dude. That. As soon as I was watching it, like him and then the other guy, and I just put like little marks like next. Dude, I have like 3 pages of notes here because you guys see how long did it take me to get Andrade's name right?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I really had to have my shit together here.
But
I still don't even know all their names.
He ended up with Booker. He picked Booker for his
I have
coach.
all that written down.
And he did have a look to him, a real stature and everything. It's tough to judge some of their wrestling because, obviously we just saw clips of short, basic beginner matches. Like, I can't really judge. And they're all starting out. Like, it's tackle.
Well, the very first one, yes, with the 2 girls with the red Tyra against the
girl Danny,
the blonde, Danny.
Yeah, the cheerleader.
It seemed like we saw a lot more of that match than we saw like the one girls match with the two with the girl with
the Australian chick.
Yeah, the Australian chick with the scar.
It was her first match
against the other girl
versus the Asian girl. Yes,
Leah.
Awesome. Yeah, that was cool. That was really cool. I like that. They were very complimentary of their work. You could see like Taker was more reserved with the coaches. Like, I was watching when they cut to the coaches too. The other coaches are clapping and stuff, and Taker was just like stone faced, not giving any reaction until the time to react, which I thought was kind of
Booker
interesting.
is like so putting his dudes over, no matter what happens.
On his commentary,
I know he's like, these guys going against Bubba. He's like, yeah, that's right, Bubba. And Bubba's fine, like, yo, dude, I would have rolled out of the ring.
Yeah, but it's just all the stuff in there is just like a lot.
But that's how Book is.
Right.
I've done some tours with him and stuff, dude. He's like an upbeat guy.
He's always on 100. Yeah.
He's like, I am.
And the way Bubba is on that show,
trouble on the bus and shit.
That's how Bubba is too. Like, what Bubba's doing, like, that's not a.
That's him.
Yeah, that's not like a him just like faking trying to be a the hard ass coach or whatever.
Yeah.
Like that's legit Bubba.
Okay, Hack, I got to ask you about
Hold
Bubba.
on, and the show started out great when he hit the kid with the freaking line. Hey, dude, I got more championships than you got shower time. I'm a pro poker player, pro psychologist, and at one point he goes, I'm motherfucking Hannibal Lecter and fucking something.
Yeah,
I texted him, then he called me like 2 minutes later.
So,
That's
Hack,
great.
I got to ask you about this with Bubba and the kid. So, the kid, what was his name? BJ, I think it is. He's the Duke.
Sexy BJ.
The Duke wrestler, right? And that guy, okay. If you're a wrestler in the business, and you've told me stories
He's
before,
Miz.
right? It's easy to
He's a
be.
heat-seeking fucking missile.
It's easy to be a heat magnet, right? And sometimes in wrestling, you're fucked either way, right? Like if you don't go, I was saying this to Ollie last week. If you're a guy walking in the locker room and you don't go around and shake everybody's hand, you get heat. But here it's the reverse. He was trying to shake Bubba's hand, and then he got heat for trying to shake Bubba's hand.
But then he took that as like a disrespect. He took it wrong as in like a disrespect from Bubba when he shouldn't have, and he should have just kept his nose down. Like, for me, I said it before even Bubba said it on the show. Like, that kid, I'm like, that kid, even though he's an asshole, he's got that enough asshole that, like, the talent that you
like
want
that
to bring that in,
YouTube
like
star fucking
that
dude kind of, you know what I'm saying?
Well, just the
Logan Paul kind of thing. Yes.
just maybe like the unlimited too much confidence that you want to bring out of somebody that you wish the other people had, but you want to also tame it to where it's like you're not a jerk off and disrespectful
In
and
real
everything.
life.
Right? Like,
dude, 15 years ago, Bubba might have
What
got in the ring and smack him.
I said to Oliver watching the thing, I really want to see Bubba open hand smack this dude.
So Hack, I got to ask you though. I got to ask you, Hack, because ultimately this show, and one of the things Bubba was saying to the blonde girl on his team is like, what's the E in WWE? And it's entertainment.
It took her a second.
And this kid ultimately gets that part of the business that he has to be a character. He is the one from this show so far in just 2 episodes, and I'm not saying anything else about the other talents. He's the one that has shown me a little bit of something that you could really work with to build a program. Like, he's shooting an angle on Bubba almost already right there, and it's like, that's what you should do. You should use this as your star-making opportunity. He's doing what he should do. I understand where Bubba's coming from and Taker, where you got to have some respect for the business. You have to have respect for your colleagues.
Just
and
channel that into just this segment of wrestling. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? Don't make that your entire personality of being a jerk off.
Right.
Yeah, the kid fucked up when he goes, I'll chew on that. After Bubba was cool. He's
Right.
like, dude, I didn't bully you or anything. Bubba's giving him, I put him over.
Yeah, he
for
said the second one was really good.
Yeah,
Everything like
put him
that.
all
Yeah.
over and anything. And then when the kid said that, I'm like, oh, what? And you can see what if when people are watching it, what Mickey James' face. She just knows the shit's getting ready to hit the fan between Bubba, and then when Undertaker said something, she like gulped.
Well, I think all of them kind of expected
I
Bubba
thought Taker
to.
was gonna rip him.
Well, I halfway thought Taker like expected Bubba to like say something else to him, but then he got out of the ring and Taker was like, I can't let that slide. Like, I thought Bubba was gonna say something, so I can't let that slide. Like,
Good point.
You know what I'm saying?
Very good point.
We'll see how these next 5 episodes go with this show, but I think that there is like legitimately like I think you could do a program on like an NXT show between Bubba and this BJ kid if he turns out to be a decent worker or has the good character.
Well, I don't want to cut you up, but just because I don't want to get past it, but I also thought it was a super cool moment in the show when you saw Bubba ask Taker during the draft, like,
What the fuck are we gonna do?
Like, if I get this kid on my team, what do you think? Should I give him a clean slate, or should
Taker's
I?
like, I'm thinking the same fucking thing.
But I thought that was like,
Real.
Bubba's a
That's
legend,
real.
but like Bubba's a legend himself. But he's also like he's respecting his elders, like asking advice from another,
Absolutely.
upper echelon guy of
Who
like
else-
Taker.
Who else in that building? Well, Sean maybe. But
Right, but I just thought that's a cool moment
Yeah,
of like
agreed.
looking into the dichotomy of like even though Bubba's a legend himself, he's asking advice of
And
a
also,
Taker.
he's
like,
asking him that. He's also saying it, but he's not saying it. He's like, dude, should I rip this fucking kid totally and push him right out of the competition? He's kind of saying that, but,
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He left it open-ended. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? So Taker he gave Taker the opportunity to say that if he really wanted to say that.
Well, like you said, wasn't Taker the locker room judge? He was in wrestling court.
I mean, he's the locker room leader. Taker. Yeah,
You know,
Dude, I
so
almost had to defend the crime time again.
I know. You've told us.
we
You've
got
told
that
us.
story. Yeah, the rat story.
I probably fucking dodged a huge bullet then.
If I-
would've fired him.
If I had to ask you, Hack, to give one piece of advice to the talents on this show, in this series, young wrestlers out there, what would that piece of advice be?
Know when to shut the fuck up.
Knowing when to shut the fuck up in the business.
Dude, that kid's got it, and obviously, like with wrestlers, there's like a fine line between living the gimmick and like turning it off.
We're looking at it right here.
But like that kid and like obviously like around the fans or whatever, you want to be the cocky asshole and things like that. But around Bubba, Taker, Mickey, but like that's when you turn it off.
He's like an Enzo. He's like an Enzo to me. Enzo's like himself, but he's like super ratcheted up when you put the fucking mic back in his hand. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But he knew how. But once it did, there's so many people that can't do that.
Well, and that's the thing. It's like, but he's got that thing that you wish you could take out of 85% of the other that don't have that.
Right.
You
that
can't
have all
teach
the-
it.
Right.
You can't teach what he has.
That have all the physical tools and all the everything. You wish you could take that from that kid and put it in all the rest of them.
Bubba's
So
gonna
like,
refine him though. Bubba's gonna refine that shit.
Well, if anyone can, and to tap
Any
in.
single one of them could do that up there.
Yes.
They can refine him.
Right.
Yeah.
Those are all, I mean, really good, like knowledgeable people to have, passing on some of their wisdom from the business, training, giving some essentials to these young talents. And those talents, like we said, I mean, they're all they all have super athletic
Oh
backgrounds.
yeah, that was another thing I wanted to say. I'm like, well, Jesus Christ, could you imagine, like me? I wasn't no great cheerleader, no great college wrestler.
sure, cheerleader, right?
You were a Chippendale. What are you talking about?
Yeah, you were a
Yeah.
fucking 5-star.
That's better than any of that.
You were an all-American Chippendale.
Yeah.
Well, but my point is that those people are let's say probably let's say 6-7 really great athletes there, proven athletes, no matter
least, yeah.
what they're in. You know what I mean? So if you're the average Joe watching this show, I think like half of them are probably like, oh Jesus Christ, I ain't got a chance. She's a fucking Olympic gold medalist. He's a fucking this. She's a this. He's a this. You know what I'm saying? They need to put.
Fair.
It's like
yeah.
It's like there's a black. Oh, you know what we got to do before we get off this? We all got to pick a winner tonight.
Okay, let's pick our winner
was-
right now.
yeah,
I'll go with my winner because I got my guy.
Female and male.
I'll go female and male. My winner is Jasper Troy.
All right, hold on. I
He's
gotta
on.
write this
He's
down.
on Booker's team. He's the bigger black guy.
Jasper, is he the one with all the records?
No. He was on Booker's team.
He was the big heel. The big
He was the
heel.
big heel.
Oh, the 6'5" dude?
Yeah.
Okay.
I like him a lot. Like I think he's got a great heel look. So I'm going to go with him. And for the females, I'm going to have to go with Tyra May, the Olympic gold medalist. You didn't see much of it, but she showed a little bit of personality. And she showed
Is she
a lot.
the ditzy blonde? Is that who you're talking
No,
about?
Tyra May.
No, she's
the black woman who's the
Oh, the
Olympic
red,
gold
white,
medalist.
blue.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm picking her and
And
Jasper
what was
Troy.
She Olympics in?
Wrestling. Yeah.
That's right. Okay.
So
All right, so you got Jasper and Tyra.
yes. Who do you got, Ty?
Okay. I'm just trying to make sure
Yeah.
I don't miss anybody. Like trying to go through.
I mean,
I got the whole list.
I can give you the list.
Oh, you
too.
got. You know what you got?
Not yet.
I'm gonna see. It's tough because they're on different. They're all on different levels.
Right. The experience levels are all over the place.
yeah,
From
it's-
like a year or two to no matches. So it's kind of
tough,
interesting.
But for me, I would take Danny. What's it, Zelinsky or the Penn State
Danny
Titans
Ray.
cheerleader?
Danny Ray, the cheerleader. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
I
with
would.
the
I will
Titans.
take her.
Okay.
Out of that, And I will take.
And hold on, what the fuck, Danny? Oh, Danny's on the girls' team. Mickey James.
I've never seen him come more prepared with notes over here, guys.
Oh, he's got a full notebook.
Huh? Have you ever seen? No.
He's JA today.
Yeah,
Dude,
yeah.
on my podcast, I'd be absolutely useless.
Yeah.
And I can't have that. I don't
No,
know
but
if
I've never
totally-
seen. I've never seen you take. He's got guys. For those out there, he has a notebook filled with pages and pages
I
here of
got
notes.
3 pages
Yes.
for these 2 shows.
All right, so you got
And
Danny.
we're gonna continue
Yeah, we'll talk
watching
about
this
this as the
show
show
and
goes
continue
on.
go along. So
There's
if you
5
guys
more
want
episodes.
to, so if you guys want to write in and give us your thoughts on that as
Who do
well.
you- Danny,
Yeah, so
who do you have for the
next
men?
time are we going to revisit this every week, or we're going to do it bi-weekly?
We'll do bi-weekly, so we'll do
Okay,
2.
so
yeah, 2
bi-weekly.
weeks.
If anybody in 2 weeks from and this is going to drop when
Monday.
First.
Yeah, the 3rd of March, I think.
All right, so the 10th of March, first 4 episodes we'll have been through.
Yes.
And I am going. I'm going to take actually the guy who went against Jasper. I don't remember his name.
I do.
Anthony Luke.
The guy who
Chris
That was
Island?
the first match.
Chris Island.
Chris Island.
Chris
Okay.
Island.
Yes.
Yeah, and they loved him, and I didn't like him at all. I could not throw a punch.
He also was an amateur wrestler. I didn't like his comeback either, Heck, but
No,
Well,
I
it's
didn't
just his
either.
comeback.
But I think he's got the thing that you can't teach. He's got the outer ring stuff, and I think he's a good enough athlete that with the teaching and the correctionals of the wrestling aspect of it, he's got the charisma that you can't teach.
Yeah.
So I'll take that and hope that you're going to teach my athlete ring presence and
okay.
and everything like
Who do you
that.
got, Ollie?
I'm in between 2 guys right now.
All right. Well, then pick your girl first.
I'm gonna
All right,
go
hold on,
with,
Ty. Who are you again?
I'm
Totally cut you off.
I have Danny for the women
Danny, yeah.
and
Chris
I have
Island.
Chris Island for the men.
Yeah.
And Island's the wrestler, right?
Yeah, he
Or
was-
No,
he
or
was
is
an-
the guy that wins in the gym.
He was an amateur wrestler.
He
That
was
his
wearing the
background.
singlet against the big 6'5" guy.
Yeah. And all right, Ollie, who do you got?
For the women, I'm gonna go the girl Leah.
Leah
Motherfucker.
Laurel.
Yeah.
Okay. The bodybuilder.
We can take.
She had a great look. I mean, absolutely great
Yeah,
look.
I think her look's awesome.
She
And
was in the last match, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm gonna take.
Was she the girl that walked the other girl through the match?
Yeah.
Yes.
The Asian woman, yeah. You can take her as well.
I'm gonna take her and.
BJ?
He ain't gonna win it.
I'm right on the fence.
There's no way they're gonna win it.
That would be the upset. What's he like? Plus
He has
48,000?
no. I'll tell you this right now. That guy's got no chance.
I'm gonna take the other Booker T guy, the Anthony Luke. Is that his name?
Anthony Luke.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'll take him.
All right, Hack, and now it's you, man. Going through
The
your
dude I didn't like was Yearford or whatever the fuck his name was.
Troy.
Troy Yearwood.
Yearwood.
He had the really big arms. He had huge arms.
The purple trunks.
Yeah, he had huge
Big,
arms.
huge athlete. He was wearing the purple trunks.
All right, so I'm taking Tatiana, the girl that just had her first match.
I was gonna take her or
Since he
Danny.
took
Yeah.
I like
the other
her. I
one,
like
her.
I was gonna probably take her before I took her.
She was the
because
basketball player.
It's such a great point, though, that
And
to be a
the
baby
Australian
face-
gladiator and
Mm-hmm.
Ninja Warrior.
But for that girl to be as young in the business as she is, and the other girl to be so fucking green, and you being a listen, wrestling started on the heels called the matches all the time. It's different now, but up until even into the 80s, the heel called the match because the heel, it was his job. You're not going to call shit to make you look good. It was his job to call shit to make you look good. So she was that young in the business, and she could do that. That's like unbelievably super important. That means you fucking get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just get it. And my dude, I don't know. Talk about something else.
With all your pages and notes, you don't have.
That's-
I didn't write it down.
No, no,
Yeah, go
no.
ahead,
I know.
look
He
through
just
it.
kind
No,
of.
it's just-
After the way she was able to bounce back after that.
I got to take
breakdown.
Shiloh then.
You're going Shiloh. He was the Stanford linebacker.
See,
So,
I don't think he gets it.
I think he does. He had intensity. I liked his look a little bit
but once
too.
he gets in the ring, I don't think he gets
Yeah,
it.
he was a little mechanical.
And I noticed that Bubba didn't like that he didn't take his advice in the ring when Bubba was like, "You're on all the time."
Yeah, there's a difference between but once you step in the ring, it's a completely different like, dude, and he's got that hair. How many times have people probably told him that he needs to get his hair
No,
out
I'm
of his
going to
face?
change him. Give me Anthony Blue.
I talked him right out of it. I'm like, nice, I'll take Shiloh. No, I'm kidding.
Well, you guys have to let us know.
Because I just took him because I know I've seen what he's done. There's so many people that
We haven't seen
anything.
yet, right? So it was pretty difficult.
Yeah, so
but
that's what we'll do. So every 2 weeks we'll go by and then we'll recalibrate, see if we're going to change our people.
Okay, I like
it's,
that.
And it's crazy watching ahead. Like, didn't you think
I
like,
think the women are killing
better
the men
or whatever?
on killing
The two
Yeah.
girls, when they locked up at the end, just like all the other experts said, I was like, damn,
Like,
that was the best lockup I've seen on the show.
Like, from a training aspect, like, I know, like, yours training was, like, completely, like, different, you know, in the era that you were doing it. But, like, even, like, when we were down in Florida at Bubba and Devon's school originally, that was very similar. All right, well.
Well, no, I mean, it's,
What do you
di-
mean very similar?
No, I'm saying I feel like that's just the way that training is ran now. Like, when we were at Bubba and Devon's school down in Florida, that's what we saw on the show, I think, pretty much.
Definitely.
Like, you know, everything from that aspect. So all that stuff now is, like, being taught at, like, promos and all that. It's not, I don't think it's, like, really necessarily just WWE, but, and who is it? I say the name wrong every time, like Serpentico or Serpentico or whatever. Yeah,
he was down there with
he
you.
was one of the head trainers, and Billy Gomes one of the head trainers. But everything that Taker and Booker and Mickey and Bubba all said, like, it's all the same.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They pinpoint everything that they say. Like, everything is, you know, presence. And I feel like Bubba, probably pretty much out of everybody, is focused so much on, dude, if you can get the crowd, it does the rest of it. Not that it doesn't matter, but focus on your character. Make sure the crowd believes you. Like, and Bubba's focused on that, and that was something super, you know, particular when I was down there, like, in that school and everything. So it'll be interesting to see, like, everybody's, because, dude, and Booker's had his school forever.
Yeah.
So,
Absolutely.
like, all the different training techniques and everything. I don't know if Mickey's ever trained.
No, but she's a heck of a worker.
Oh, I know she is.
Yeah.
I'm not taking anything. I just wasn't privy to whether or not she's, like, really, like. I'm sure she has, like, throughout her career, like, with people already in the business. But I didn't know if she had, like, a school or anything like that.
I used to travel with her every Wednesday down to TNA for probably like a year and a half, 2 years straight.
Oh, that's awesome.
Me, her, Julio De Niro, and I'll remember there was.
I know, it's so funny when we were at WrestleMania, he walked up
Carino,
and Mickey, like, ran right up to him and was like, "Ha, kind of." I was like, "You fucking."
He said
cocksucker."
it's everybody. It's
Like,
everybody.
The same thing with Lita.
Yeah, I'm
Lita
like,
gets out of the car, came running over to me.
It's everybody with you. I feel like that's
dude,
a.
it's great.
well, yeah, because they know you don't want to go over. So,
They only love you because you're a loser.
Whatever.
yeah.
But this is a great. I like this as a segue for our topic of the show this week too. Is the worst gimmicks in pro wrestling history. So before we get started on our lists and stuff with this, I got to ask you, Hack,
Give those people the things so that they can look at the list that we looked at.
Yeah, it's a Bleacher
I had
Report.
my list out before you even sent me either of those.
Yeah, it's a Bleacher Report list. I was just sending to you guys for if you want to look up for examples of
Well,
stuff.
just
But
tell 'em.
yeah, I'll put a link up there for
Okay.
it. But Hack, I want to talk about a little bit of what makes for a good gimmick in wrestling and what makes for a bad gimmick. And I have a couple things that I said for
A
like
surfboard, a wetsuit.
You know I was going right there.
No, but ultimately, like, what a good gimmick is, in my opinion, is something that, like, connects the performer and the crowd together, right? You have a connection, some visual presence, whether it's the outfit or the attire or the video production
Or the yeet.
or the yeet, like some visual presence to
Something
it.
interactive.
But I also think it has a lot to do with the worker himself. A worker can take a shit gimmick and make it great.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't have to be the best idea, but if you can fully engage yourself into that character and make, dude, all you need is one chance to, like, for them to make that character believable, and you're off to the races.
Right.
A
And
perfect example is Goldust.
right, Goldust. And there's many ways Goldust could have been a complete flop as a gimmick, right? It's a challenging gimmick to do. Even The Undertaker, right?
Sure.
I think being authentic authenticity, right? The buy-in from the wrestler with the gimmick. If the wrestler doesn't buy into the gimmick, it's not going to work.
Cowboy.
Fucking
Cowboy. CW Arena.
Well, we actually gave him his gimmick pretty much. Like he did.
You know what I'm saying? Though?
Yeah.
But, like-
It's just, you don't know. Sometimes it's like a very hard question because you don't know if something's just BWO.
Right.
That could have fell straight on its face.
It's a spoof of another stable from another
Yes,
company.
exactly.
No, but to their credit, they fucking took it
Steve
and went
and
right
Reed.
and fucking skyrocketed
That's
that
The big
shit.
thing
Like,
we saw in the beginning of this show with everyone doing their promos, a lot of it, what was pointed out is, I didn't believe it.
Right, that's what I mean. Like, you got to buy in. You got to believe
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, it's like, dude,
Good
you
point.
can say the most outlandish thing there is, but as long as people believe you're saying it,
if you say it with fucking conviction, then
It matters.
Yeah.
Like the Ultimate Warrior, his promos were complete gibberish, utter nonsense, and
From
yet
the depths of hell, on this planet that we never heard of, this guy will ride a chariot. Dude, he was nuts.
he was nuts, but it worked, right? I mean, it worked.
Well, they didn't see. He was. He's all entrance.
he's all entrance.
I had to pause first before I said that. I got a little bit more confident of a promo, but no, he didn't have to cut a promo.
Right.
And he would never talk about Hulk Hogan, who he's wrestling. He was just talking about this shit.
Right. And to me, like, what makes for a bad gimmick to me, I think just being insincere, like a false identity, something that doesn't fit to the persona of the actual person. Like you with a surfboard, Hack. You know, at the end of the day,
I looked the part.
you looked the part, you had the bodysuit on, but like
Hate the sand.
the surfboard.
Never been standing on a surfboard in the water.
The surfboard for you was just, it's not authentic, right?
Well, but it wasn't me. That
That's
wasn't
what I
my
mean.
idea.
I
That
know.
was because Jerry Lawler wanted me to get something.
Right. But at the end of the day, it was just not authentic, so it didn't work.
Yeah.
Anything that limits the performer from their actual talents. So, like, I think if you gave them a gimmick that takes away from what they can actually do in the ring, something that's
Yeah, you don't
distracting.
give Rey Mysterio the Undertaker's gimmick.
Right. It would be completely nonsensical, right?
yeah, you see Bubba doing it. He's like, with the one girl, he's like, I'm not going to change her.
Why would you?
Yeah, we're just going to make this the best we can.
Yo, and that girl's green as shit, too.
Yes, she is. And she's young. That girl's
I wrote it next
20
to her
years
name.
old.
Ran a goddamn marathon without no training.
Right. That's insane.
Dude, did you see her leg? Oh, she did a Stairmaster for 24 straight hours?
Yeah, that girl's insane. Insane.
Guys were unbelievable.
but
Yeah.
she could be like a Chelsea Green, like like you see
But thicker,
that.
though. Chelsea's like all skinny. That
Right, no,
girl's
but
like
her
all
like
piece.
as like a powerful like Chelsea, but like you could be that like ditzy thing, but also like
Yeah.
make
There's
it like a
it's two faces.
make it like a
Right.
yeah, like a dastardly ditzy.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, exactly.
The other
Yeah.
thing that I have,
There's her name right there.
There you go.
Dastardly ditzy.
the other thing that I have for bad
Give me the
gimmicks,
pencil.
yeah, once again, Ty's booking for you guys out there. The other thing I have for what makes a really bad gimmick is if someone who doesn't watch wrestling walks in the room while you're watching it and you feel a deep shame for what's on the television. You know that feeling when you're like, whether it's a girl
You're
or
like,
somebody.
no, you don't get it.
Yeah,
He's been
yeah,
doing this for
yeah.
weeks.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just a squash match.
Yeah, it fills you with shame that you're watching this.
Shame.
You know what I'm talking
Shame.
about, you guys. Well, you have no shame. You have no shame.
Yeah.
But when you're like, this is the worst shit, just turn this off. Like that's what
I know, but
Well, you
guys
also
gotta-
well, never mind.
Well, you
I was gonna say you have
gotta
credibility,
understand,
but never mind.
Pro wrestling wasn't anywhere near as over as it is now when I was freaking a young kid. When I was a young kid, it was a carnival act. Nobody freaking watched it. The regular people didn't know who the hell like Bruno Sammartino was. And he had the strap for 10 years for WWF in
Right.
a row. You know what I mean? People just didn't know that. So, yes, if you were much less, you weren't going to go start a conversation with, hey, did you see that wrestling yesterday?
Yeah, no.
Or somebody walks in and it's a Doink the Clown versus, going to be like,
Don't you dare bring up Doink, because if you guys got him, I will defend his gimmick. I think he was a great gimmick, actually.
if somebody
yes.
walked in, you watching that, they'd be like, dude, give me some of those mushrooms.
Yeah, what are you doing? You're 38 years old.
You don't get it. You don't get it.
Yeah, you just don't get it. So I'm going to kick it off, Ollie. You can kick it off with your first worst.
So am I going fifth?
Yeah, save.
I don't have mine in order.
Okay, so-
I didn't really think about it in that way either. But
Okay,
I
just
can't
to-
really put these in order.
All right.
You know what I'm saying?
And if you-
Alright, but I got one.
All right.
Simon Dean.
Simon Dean, man.
Wow! Holy shit! Are you going with Shane Dean Douglas? next?
No, Simon Dean, man. Like,
All right, Nova.
for Nova in WWE, it was trying something. I get it. It's like like that movie Heavyweights with Ben Stiller,
It's at
fitness.
time. Like it was that might have worked in like the 70s or
Yeah.
like 80s or something like that, but at the time period that they were trying it, like fresh off the Attitude Era, it's
No.
like nah.
No shot.
Yeah.
No shot of a
Well,
gimmick.
they were trying to go because Nova's a smart dude. I mean, you just talk to him. You know, the dude's intelligent. And you know what I mean? And maybe they were just trying to get the character to fit in.
Yeah, I mean, it was an attempt at something for him.
They did the same thing with Shane.
Yeah, it was an
He was
attempt at
teacher,
something,
You know what I'm saying? They're trying to fit the gimmick into the person.
which is what you shouldn't do. But I mean,
I'm not sure
it was a
what it is.
total flop. It didn't work at all, and it was a complete bust there. So, Ty, what do you got as your number 5 worst gimmick ever?
5 worst. Okay, me, I don't necessarily have. All right, I'm just gonna start out with Eugene.
Eugene, I mean, look, he had a touch of the tism.
Eugene's on my list too.
Okay, you know what though? I will say for Nick Dinsmore, who was a great wrestler, Eugene, for his portrayal, was pretty good.
Okay, all right. So that's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say that dude took that and probably did as much as you possibly could.
He ran with it as far as possible.
Yeah, like
As long as Vince let him.
Right.
right,
You
but
know what I mean? You just put him in situations.
So I-
it's like
no,
the
but-
truth. Like you just put him in situations.
right, I will give him credit for taking that and actually doing something with it. I'm just talking about as far as like the gimmick itself.
It's
Like the concept.
The concept of the gimmick is probably not somewhere where you want to go.
no, I think
Like-
I don't think they would do that to this day. It's very insulting to a lot of people out there.
That's why I'm calling it a bad gimmick.
Totally.
Is not necessarily because of him, but like you. That's not something you or somewhere you want to go
No.
with a gimmick like that. Especially, I don't know, One Night Stand 2, where I'm not going to mention any names. Kane's them.
Yeah, heck,
But,
I don't know. That's
it's-
realistically, what he
I told you what Vince said to me.
was able to get out of it is actually gold.
It's impressive.
He had like a SummerSlam program with Triple H. Like that's pretty
Right.
amazing for what it was.
That was like he wasn't like his character out there wasn't too far from. He wasn't like making any noise. You never heard that guy like talk in the locker room. He's not like me, like perfect, love it.
Well, I'm not
You
sure
know what
you
I mean?
can
He was
if you're
a very
Eugene.
reserved kind of dude. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, I mean,
He
look,
might have to have been to be that character.
yeah,
That's why I said that.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But I'm just calling it a bad gimmick just because on the decision to even go there with
Totally,
that gimmick
totally.
is more or less the reason I went there.
Yeah, and I didn't include anything that was like racially charged because there's a ton of those in wrestling history
Right.
where you're like, oh my god, they did this, like because there's a lot of those ones.
Sure.
And those are
DX did a blackface thing in the.
I know, heck,
after
yeah.
the year 2000.
yeah. There's so much bad racist stuff in wrestling history, and there's no place for that. But I didn't include any of those in the bad
Yes,
gimmicks.
but it's a parody of life.
Yes, in
You know
a
what I mean?
sense.
Wrestling's a total parody.
It's the sign of
life.
the sign of the times parody.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I got mine here. It's my first
we
one.
were way less woke back then.
Yeah. It's my first one.
I don't know, give us a couple of years. Who knows what we'll be calling those people?
Mike Awesome in WCW. They gave him a gimmick where he was a fan of fat women, and they called him the Fat Chick Thriller
I forgot all
in
that.
WCW.
I remember Joey bringing that up on commentary. What was it, during One Night Stand?
Yeah, this is Mike Awesome, right? It's awesome Mike Awesome, and instead of just letting him go out there and powerbomb dudes, they have him come out with two beefy women, and it was just the kind of shit that WCW was doing, just destroying a guy's
Think
credibility.
about it, though.
They're ribbing him, what's the yes? It's a rib on him.
Okay, dude. The dude took I don't know how much money he took. Listen, no matter what, and guys have held up, like my Macho Man, I think, or the Honky Tonk Man have held up Vince saying, no, I'm not doing that job at WrestleMania unless you give me a briefcase, a Halliburton briefcase filled with like 50 G's. That's happened before in this business. So I have to say that. And what was I talking about?
You're talking about Mike Awesome in WCW with this fat chick gimmick.
Mike takes the big payday, supposedly like 250 G's or whatever the hell it was from WCW, to leave with the ECW title and take it to WCW. And then they did a workaround where Mike had to come back and drop it. They brought all this security with him and shit like that. That's a rip.
That's a
That's
rib
a Vince Russo rip, sounds like.
on Mike Awesome.
Yes.
Because they were disappointed in what they got with the contract or what?
Whatever.
I mean, it was just...
Or maybe because there's certain people that are saying that, yo, dude, that dude shouldn't, he ain't nobody. He shouldn't have done that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It could have been Hogan, like, getting into zero. Is my point. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Saying, like, yo, Vince, let's fuck with this thing.
Well, it's totally ruined him.
Yeah.
I mean, just awful gimmick for the character of who he was in the ring and everything. So,
Love you, Mike.
love you, Mike Awesome. You deserve
I
better
do.
than that. He absolutely...
Great dude. He was so happy when I got to Japan, dude, because I brought pot and
Keep taking down those fat chicks.
Oh my God, he was so happy. The very first time I got there, he was so happy.
Your number 5 worst gimmick, what is it?
All right. Well, I can't nail it down to like the worst of worst, but it's right there with Oz.
Oh, that's one of mine. Don't say it if it's not. Is that yours?
Yeah.
Okay,
I
so
just said
Oz.
it.
Oz. Now, Hack, this was given to Kevin Nash at a point early in his WCW
Oh my
career.
God, you guys gotta freaking take a look at the picture.
I've never
and give
even.
it up.
I was gonna say, I don't think I know.
Google it.
You'll be like, what?
So this was, okay, it was a character known as Oz, and it was based on the Wizard of Oz, and Nash had this famous
Lucy.
quote. Nash said, I love Dusty. I loved him to death. When he brought me in and told me...
my God.
Hold on, Ollie, hold on.
That picture.
When
Make that bigger.
when he said he was giving him the gimmick, when he brought me in and told me he was going to make me Oz, I just looked up to him. I said, you do realize that Oz is a geographical region. He is the Wizard of Oz, and that there is not actually an Oz.
But he's smart, though.
Nash?
Yeah.
Oh, he's totally smart.
Yeah,
and it's
very
like,
smart.
this was just a huge miss. I mean, giant miss. They tried a number of things with Nash early in his career.
Was he Vinny Vegas, or was that...
He was Vinny Vegas.
They did it. He was also like a
the
gambler.
evil wizard. Yeah.
It's like
it's just-
Ivan Ooze from the Power Rangers.
it's so bad, man. It's so bad.
He looks like Will Ferrell as the evil wizard in fucking the skating movie. fucking
Number 5.
Blades of Glory.
I had him at my number 4, Hack. So you took my number 4 from me. I had Oz as well because it's somebody who did something great in the business and you gave him a bunch of shit. So it just wasn't. It was not worthy of Kevin Nash's career to give him that
Yeah,
gimmick.
but Kevin Nash wasn't Kevin Nash yet either.
No, he had to.
Kevin Nash hadn't really figured it out yet.
No, he didn't until he got to WWF. So it was early in his career, and it was a total whiff. So, Ollie, what do you got for your number 4 worst gimmick ever?
Disco Inferno.
Disco.
Wow, Glenn.
Okay, Ollie, why do you have Disco Inferno?
I mean, me personally, I just could never get behind the disco dancer
Disco.
as being a wrestler.
I'm
But-
with you.
But you gotta go ahead.
No, please.
But it's the times. You know what I'm
I
saying?
know, but it's the 90s then. That's what it's like.
20 years ago. It was
I know.
20 years before.
I know, but disco times is the
In the 70s. Yeah, that's what I mean. It's so dated.
Yeah, I know, but what you always do, YMCA. You know what I'm saying? John Travolta. You know what? The disco.
That was the
has-
80s, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was 70s and 80s. I mean, that's not like current.
Yeah, I know, but what you got to understand is the people that disco was huge over with are at that ripe age of 18 to 39 that they're trying to get their audience.
Okay, so they're in that
that's
demo.
how they think.
Good point.
Good
Hey,
point.
let me bring me back to my younger days. You know what I mean? YMCA, Village People, shit like that.
But then what about, like, I tweeted this the other day. pretty deadly for WWE is doing like kind of a disco gimmick now in 2025. And I said that would be like somebody doing a swing gimmick in the 80s or a ragtime gimmick in the 70s. But you're talking about 50 years
I
from...
don't even know what ragtime.
No, I know, but it's 50 years removed from the time period of when that music was popular.
I know ragtime.
It's even more dated. Like Disco Inferno, I agree.
Yeah, but sometimes things are cool if they're dated. You just got to find the coolness. I agree with totally what you're saying.
Yeah, like Chuck
but
Taylor.
Sometimes that's something that thing's going to hit.
Yeah, I know why you got him, Ollie. It was very... And plus we watched a lot of Disco
And, like, to
Inferno.
me, I only have like a select few of it. Like, I can't speak on like Oz. You know what I'm
Yes,
saying?
it's before your time.
Wait till you pick up a couple other pictures.
Obviously,
Ollie has a different Rolodex than we do.
Yeah.
So
He's like, yeah, Bret Hart.
Ty, who do you got as your fourth worst gimmick ever?
Bret Hart.
No. This,
Man,
Steve Austin.
I could go so many places. Let's go with Rosie.
Rosie?
Wow, with the mask, Rosie.
Yeah,
The superhero.
the superhero Rosie. Just
With him in the hurricane?
Yeah, they put
Yeah.
that shit together.
The-
Badass dude.
I almost put the Hurricane on my list, but he was actually he did good with it. So
I think he did the best he could with it, and I kind of feel the same way about Rosie, but I know why you put him on there.
for me, I mean, but just choosing it, like you couldn't think of another gimmick for like a Samoa for a Noi or a Fatu at that point. Like,
Yeah.
you're giving him a superhero and this wasn't like.
Yeah, he could have been Yokozuna if they came up with Yokozuna because that was years later.
Well, his brother
They
was
could've used-
Umaga.
Yeah, I don't understand that, but they could have done Yokozuna even back then.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
no, but Rosie,
Yeah.
this is like, I don't know, early 2000s.
This is early 2000s.
I mean,
so it's
superhero early 2000s for like a Samoan on a Samoan, like,
And it's like
I just like there's so many other ways that you could have went with that. I just for me the gimmick it's up like the Hurricane, giving it to a little guy and
That
making
was
him.
Rosie, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was Rosie. Yeah,
No, I'm
Rosie,
just
he was
talking
with
about as far
Hurricane.
as the superhero gimmick. I'm
Yeah.
talking
Yeah,
about
yeah,
like you give that to a little guy like Helms and make him like I'm the Hurricane,
That's
and
the
then
best
make
point
that
you've made out of your whole argument.
right. Like that's fine. You're giving a big, huge Samoan a superhero gimmick, and me, I don't know. I just thought
Yeah, you better
that.
be in an Iron Man costume or something.
Yeah, like doing that. Yeah, it was just some like baggy thing, like with the whatever.
it looked like a purple sheet. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
For me, for him, the whole thing was just a total miss.
It was. It absolutely was. I already went with Oz was going to be my fourth one, so I'm going to go back to you, Hack, here for your fourth.
All right, I got a couple right here. So
Well, no, just do one. It's your fourth. Do one.
Bitch.
Bastion Booger.
Bastion Booger. Oh,
Look him up.
have you ever seen the Bastion Booger, Ollie?
I think
I don't think he was alive.
I mean, no, he just like an extremely fat guy in a
I've seen this dude before, but this is
what
like,
kind of outfit was he wearing?
I don't know, just those half-ass suspender freaking things
That
they
like
crossed
that
over.
like crossed over his breasts, and he just ate a bunch of food. And the commentators would talk about how he smelled, and then he would like sit on his opponents for his finish.
That's right.
But he would like kneel down and like squash them. It was kind of
He's
like
got him and put their balls right
Yeah.
in Doink's face. He's doing right
Like-
here in the one picture.
this had no chance of succeeding. Or
I know, dude. What would you rather have? Bastion Booger's balls in your face or take the pit stop from freaking
Knobs?
Knobs.
I'm taking the pit stop all day, every day. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I know. The pit stop's like skin on skin.
I'm
At least
taking the
there's
pit stop.
freaking,
I don't care.
fabric between you and his
All right. Well,
nuts.
I don't know the Bastion Booger nutsack. So what?
No,
It's-
so just with your knees right on each side of his ear, and you're like sitting on him like this.
Oh,
man.
Right as freaking-
yeah, it's more like a fupa.
Yeah, it's like a fupa attack.
Yeah.
It's like a fupa stink face. It is.
I think I'll take the fupa stink face.
over the pit stop.
Yeah.
I'm taking the pit stop all day.
No,
man.
at least there's some like in between
Right, I don't
on
like skin on it.
the
Dude, but I'm touching him every move we do. Like it's so weird. Like in my head, it's like I don't like to be touched by anybody ever.
Right.
Grandkids like touching my face and shit like that, my head. But I'm in the business of that you have to touch somebody to make money.
Yes.
It's weird.
Well,
So-
why do you think they gave you the cat? Because give me the cane. I'll just whack people. We'll never have to touch.
Well, let me ask you about the pit stop since you brought it up, Hack. Was the pit stop, did Knob stiff you on that one too, like every other thing he did?
No, he can't really stiff you because I would fucking stick my thumb right in his.
No, I think he was more or less talking about like a stink stiff than like an actual stiff.
He did it to me, then turned around and fucking and fell off and tripped himself on a ladder. I think it was the very first night I worked him.
I mean,
I'm pretty sure it was the very first night I worked him.
is the armpit as I mean?
Nah, don't stink.
All right, I'll.
Sure.
Dude, who knows what
Well, I don't know. You said you wouldn't. You would rather have the balls in the face.
All that coke up your nose.
No, but not
Smelling
at that
it.
time. I was straight. There was no drinking, nothing at WCW.
Ollie,
I'm hot smoking.
your third worst gimmick ever.
All right. Well, I have Eugene on the list.
Okay, so that's one of yours.
So I'm down to 2 left.
Okay, you're down to 2 then.
The Spirit Squad.
Man, the Spirit
Dude,
Squad.
when those dudes got on the pogo sticks, it was so fucking great.
You liked it.
I actually thought that it wasn't a half bad idea. They just didn't pull it off as well as.
Well, they had a program with like
with
DX
Shawn
and
Michaels
Shawn
and
and Triple H,
fucking- yeah.
and like they did good stuff. But it's like, just to me, the idea of like the male cheerleading team is like.
See,
I'm
to
with
me,
you.
I look at that differently. I actually think that's a really good idea. I don't think they executed it as well
like
as
your
it could have been.
Football fans would understand that. You know what I'm saying? That's how people relate to cheerleading. Man, woman.
But I think you could be like a super male, but like be like super heel. Like if you had the right guys in there, like you could
Kinda
be
like
some.
we want our girl on fucking on our show. The cheerleader there.
Well,
We want her to show 2 different fucking sides.
Sure. I just think that done right, that could have been. You're like, oh man, these male cheerleaders keep getting the best of us or whatever, but they're just dastardly
Dude, they had
ass like
a great
heel
run.
cheerleaders.
They
Like
did have a good run, and I mean Ziggler had a great career, but no one else did from the Spirit Squad. So it kind of killed everybody else's career. Kind of, I think everybody else in the Spirit Squad afterwards, like they weren't able to find the next thing.
well,
after
yeah,
that.
I think a problem with shit like that is like if you give somebody a fucking gimmick and it tanks so bad, like you may never get a fucking chance ever again. Maybe not to your own fault. Maybe not to your own fault.
It didn't even tank. These guys were working main events.
right.
You know what I'm saying? But it's like being Leave It to Beaver. Dude, where are you going to get cast if you've been doing this role for 5 years?
You're kind of typecast.
Typecast, yeah.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Beaver ain't going to, nobody's hiring him to do a serious freaking, like sleuth job or something like that as a detective.
Okay. Yeah. No. I know your
You know what I'm
point.
saying? He's like, yeah, this is the beef, dude.
Right.
He's always going to be the beef.
but Ziggler was able to overcome it, but none of the other guys.
And not even
Was
right
a
away,
guitar.
really. It was kind of a couple years. Like
It was.
before
They brought him
Ziggler,
back.
caught
It took a
on.
while to get repackaged for
Didn't
Ziggler.
didn't they like end up breaking down into like 2 guys or something?
I
And-
can't.
Yeah, one
Kenny
dude, Kenny
Dykstra.
Well, because he got a little bit of a
Skinny
singles
dude.
run.
Yes.
Well, that's what I'm
He did,
saying.
too.
I think there was like 1 or 2 guys. There was like ended up being like just a tag team, like
Yeah,
a regular,
it
just
started
like
out
2
with,
tag.
eight. And
Yeah,
then
whatever
and
it
then
was.
It got a little smaller, and then a little
Right.
smaller.
Yeah. Well, tight. Who do you got as your third worst gimmick?
All right, they're. I mean, I gotta go with the Repo Man.
Repo Man. We mentioned him last week.
I mean,
Just
it's,
fell out of my top 5
He
right
was-
before I'm scribbling and changing numbers.
He was outside looking in for you.
Now he's like 6 for me.
I mean, like he was actually like when I was a kid, like pretty prominent. Like
It's doing the Repo Man
yeah,
looking
like
right now.
It's so weird. Like
how he was was like hunched over the whole time, the whole match.
Like when I was younger watching WWF, like I saw the Repo Man, and like obviously at that point I didn't even know what the Repo Man was. I just saw this dude looking like a raccoon out there, like running around, like you know, like whatever. Like I had no idea.
Well,
like
if you think about how stupid it is, then because how many kids really get what a repo man?
And you're catering
If your
to kids at
car's
that
going,
point.
You're not going to say to your like 6-year-old wrestling kid, "Oh, the repo man came and got it."
Yeah, like oh, that's the Repo Man.
You're
Like,
oh no, the car's getting fixed.
dude, I didn't know I didn't know who the actual Repo Man was supposed to be until I was like
funny.
Till I was like 15, and he was way out of
That's
long
so
gone out of the
funny.
business.
I
Out of
mean,
then,
Barry Darsow had
like
a big run in the business, though. He was
He was
demolition.
Axe or Smash.
He was Smash.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was Smash. I mean, he had a really good career
oh, and
overall in
I had his
wrestling.
action figures. I would be putting up matches against the Repo Man. Don't get me wrong, but I didn't know what the fucking Repo Man was.
Repo Man was on Ty's card.
Yeah, yeah.
Muskrat in the fucking
Oh yeah, he was my open match against Brutus the Beefcake.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's a good opening match anywhere.
The beefcake.
Oh, God, yeah.
It's the barber.
Brutus the Barber Beefcake.
Yeah, Brutus the Barber Beefcake.
All right, this is my third, I think,
what
worst.
Bitch trying to catch me on something. Not
Perry
fuck.
Saturn with the mop. They gave Perry Saturn a
Moppy.
gimmick. Yeah, Moppy in WWF. And it's like, I know they've had these things. Yeah, Moppy, Ollie. Think about this.
Clearly, you've never been on Quaalude.
They've had gimmicks. Yes, it is kind of like Tally. That's a great way of thinking about it. But like,
South Park was huge at this point.
yes, it was. Yes,
Dreamer would tell me about it all the time. I never watched it till this day. But
but
Dude, you would love it.
Moppy was just like, okay, you have Perry Saturn. Guy could work his ass off. He could throw suplex like a motherfucker. Great kicks. But to give him something like this, I know you're trying to like reach into him to get him a character. And like Al Snow, for example, right? Al Snow and Head sounds absurd. There's no way that should have got over, but it did.
Example.
But it did, right? But Moppy just didn't get over. I think it just sucked for Perry, and it didn't work out at all for him. And terrible, terrible gimmick, in my opinion.
Well, I also that was WCW, right?
It was WWF.
WWF.
Yeah.
Well,
After the merger.
Yeah.
so I think,
Well, he was already there in 2000, so he was there
yeah,
before the
that's right.
merger.
but I also think there's a difference between Perry Saturn in WWF with a Moppy and Al Snow with an ECW crowd and Head. Like I think like
Yes.
like
Yeah.
Moppy could have worked in ECW.
Yeah.
Is kind of my point.
Mobby easily could have worked in ECW.
You know what I'm saying? So like it's
But Al Snow took Head from ECW into WWF, and it worked.
well
to
because
some
it was
level.
already over.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like it was
Yes.
already established. It was already over. Like
Yeah, it's a harder road to hoe with that new gimmick if he brought it out in WWF, is what you're saying.
Right. And it's trying
well,
something.
because Al couldn't have done the jokes that he did with Head. What does everybody want? Head. You know, what does everybody need? Head.
Yeah.
You know, like some of the
Al's
his
fucking
pro
brilliant.
dude and his promos with Head
Dude,
were like
him talking to that thing.
hilarious. And like just
But
in the back, like, no, I'm not gonna do that. What are you talking about? What are we? You know, where are we gonna
that could have easily not worked, and Moppy certainly did not work.
Sure. Oh yeah,
Did
100%.
not work. So
It's crazy, like how like.
Talent.
it is the talent as well.
Well, that's well.
and it's like I said earlier, it's about the buy-in. I'm sure Perry
had
wasn't.
enough time fucking with a regular promo. What are you going to give him
Yeah.
a fucking mop to do?
If I could,
Now you want him to do two different things?
Well,
Yeah.
When they did the promos, Cronus was always the one that
Cronus is
like
like,
got it. Right, he got it up. Like Perry gave
Perry's like, we're
Perry
gonna
gave
kill
the
you.
bullshit, but Cronus got
We're
the
going to kill you.
yeah. Cronus got the promo over because he did his giggle like
Right.
whatever, and maybe Perry could have made Moppy
Moppy
as
a rip.
Cronus, but but like we said in the beginning, it's all about like. You can turn a bad gimmick into a fucking awesome gimmick. It all depends on, how you lean into it and everything. So,
yeah.
There could have been some people who would have flopped with that head easily. But
Totally.
Yeah.
Al's just straight brilliant.
Yeah. Ollie, what do you got? You got two left or one left?
I got a couple.
You got one? Heck,
I have
two. I have two.
Google
I have two.
Mantar.
Oh, Mantar. I got him on my list, too. You stole another one from me. I got Mantar, too. Mantar is so What the fuck was Mantar? Like, what the fuck was Mantar?
Dude,
Taste the beast.
we probably got the same number one.
I don't want to say it yet, but,
All right, but I would think there's a very good chance we have the same
We
number
might.
one
Oh
or two.
my god.
yeah, seriously.
It's
Ollie,
like a furry.
it's like, what the fuck was Mantar? I can't even tell you what Mantar
Is that
was.
like a bison head?
Yeah, it's just awful, dude. I mean, it's
Yeah,
like
where is his head? Oh, on the
he's
far
like
right?
he's like a
Okay,
centaur kind of thing.
Yeah.
He ended up,
It's a minotaur.
yeah, he's a Mantar.
Right, literally, that's what was. Dude, you gotta understand. When I was in WWE, freaking they were hiring writers that have never watched professional wrestling. The one writer told me that. He goes, I'm like, how'd you get your job? He goes, I answered some ad, like you go to fucking Yelp or whatever the fuck they did, what you would do back then.
He was probably like a soap
That's how he
opera
got his
writer or
job.
whatever.
Yeah, situation comedy, soap opera. That's
Right.
what these dudes were doing, getting hired by Vince.
Well, this in 94, 95, I don't think they were hiring outside writers.
No, but I
when
mean,
they
there's
did
some big
Mantar.
hits like we talked about with
Well, that's
Undertaker.
how so bad this shit is then.
It was horrible. This is as bad as it gets for wrestling.
No, but if you think about that, think about we said, how the Undertaker could have been a complete flop.
totally.
Like the Undertaker, and
Right.
he comes out with a dude with an urn. Like,
But everybody understands death. That's the thing.
Yeah.
all right, what are some other?
Your audience is every single buddy, not just 45%.
Okay,
you
like-
know what I mean.
I
Like
mean-
if you're a good-looking Salvatore Sincere, which I mean he's an English out
Salvatore Sincere.
there. You know what I mean?
No, but think about the old ones that did work, like Big Boss Man. Yes, Cop. People can relate.
Right.
I mean,
I know, Ty. It's
but
the
that- but
boss
that's
man,
kinda
you
half-
get that because he was from Georgia, and it was like Georgia.
Big
cops,
Van
because-
Vader.
Yeah, but the boss man is over because of Jackie Gleason. What was the movie?
Jackie
You
Gleason.
Squeal like a pig, you hog.
Oh,
Like Deliverance.
oh,
like
yeah,
the
yeah,
fucking
yeah.
being down
Yes,
south and
yes.
Georgia cops and shit like that. You know what I mean? That made sense. Just because of the times, the hottest movie around was.
Yeah,
fucking-
I'm just
was
saying,
the trooper from Georgia was the biggest, baddest dude. Like when I was a kid.
Yeah,
No,
I'm just saying some of them are not completely far fetched, considering some of the other ones that have
Yeah,
been
the
successful.
cop's easy
Right.
to me.
Right.
Right. Okay.
Mantar's not easy.
So you got all right. So you had Mantar. You got one more left. Huh?
Are you
I
done?
gave you Mantar, I gave you Bastion Booger, and I gave you Oz, but I've only given you 3.
So you got another one left too. Okay. So you have 2 left. I only have 1 left. Ty,
I have
you have
2.
You have 2. You have 2. You have 1?
The Tiger.
All right, Ty, you go.
Hopefully he'll take one of mine.
Dr. Yankum.
DDS,
Yeah, he didn't
man.
make my top 5.
What a terrible gimmick.
I mean, dude, just like an evil dentist that,
I know you're laughing because it's so stupid.
like,
It's so stupid.
like,
Could you imagine being a parent at the time? Listen, you're sitting there with your kid, because people back in these days, imagine this, that they were trying to get the kids there because the parents would then buy a ticket to bring the fucking kids. And they're pulling out Isaac Yankum like every kid's worst nightmare.
going to the dentist, and you got this evil dentist
They're in
who's
the
like
front
a
row.
heel.
Oh yeah, look at this dude, Yankum.
With Jerry
Yeah, your
Lawler
appointment's
pushing him.
Wednesday.
Right, yeah, which it, like, I mean, man, that is
It
brutal.
just makes no sense. So you might be right that there's nobody else writing this shit except Bruce Pritchard and Vince at this point.
It was.
And like
Pat Patterson.
and Sergeant Slaughter.
I know, but like, what? Even like, okay, Mentor. Okay, he's a.
All right, he's not a fucking peppermint fucking
Mint.
Howies.
what the fuck was his
Mantar.
name? Mantar, whatever.
Instead of Mentoid.
Mantar.
Yeah, Mantar. But at
Yeah,
least
that's
that.
it,
But at least that dude's like a beast.
He was. Bruiser Mastino.
Like,
He's a big motherfucker.
No, but I'm saying like
True.
a Mantar has like a huge animal head, like a beast, like some evil,
absurd.
some evil dentist.
No,
like,
I know.
He's just like his finisher's like
Just
gonna
doing
brick.
tackle drop down hip
yeah, like.
His tag team partner should be the lunch lady fucking at the school. The dentist and the lunch lady.
From Billy Madison.
She's like, he's this sugar, kids.
Have some more sloppy joes.
That would have been a way better gimmick than Isaac Yankem DDS. Like, seriously.
like
I think in the lunch lady. She's
Yeah.
pushing sugar down the kid's mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The hot lunch.
Oh, God. All right. Ollie, you got what?
Well, I got one more.
You got
one,
Hack,
two.
you
So
got
Hack,
2,
you're
so
next.
you go.
All right. So I give you that. I can't give you that. All right. Giant Gonzalez.
Giant Gonzalez. Wow.
Yeah, the dude had a hog dick. All right, that works.
Hold up, Ollie. He's 7'4". Fonzie's job was to drive.
He's the opener.
Yeah.
Fonzie was the opener. He
Fonzie
told
was
us.
yes, he told us this story down at Suplex.
Yeah, dude. That gimmick was worth it just on that.
Hold on. I will say with the Giant Gonzalez,
Look at the outfit.
Dude, he worked WrestleMania, dude.
the absurd outfit he had, yes, and he was the horrible, horrible wrestler, rest in peace. But I don't think, the bodysuit outfit with the fake muscles painted on in the fur is absolutely awful. But I kind of like Giant Gonzalez. I don't know. I kind of like Giant Gonzalez.
You're an idiot.
I do. I kind of like him. I don't know. I just kind of
Okay,
like him.
so
Dude, he couldn't work. He couldn't do anything. He was slow as shit.
yeah, but does that make it a bad gimmick, or does that just make him a shitty worker?
I think he sucked.
Yeah,
But
there's just he shouldn't have even been in the ring.
do you know how he got
But
in the
that
business?
doesn't make it a bad gimmick.
Do you know how he got in the business, Hack?
No.
Okay, so he was signed to the Atlanta Hawks, and Ted
I knew he
Turner.
played ball.
Ted Turner owned the Atlanta Hawks, but he also owned WCW. They had his contract,
go.
and they were like, "All right, we got this big guy. He can't play
can't play
basketball.
ball.
Let's make him a
Yeah.
wrestler." And he couldn't be a wrestler. He didn't work out in WCW. Didn't work out in WWF. And
Yeah, but it
Fonzie,
worked out great for Fonzie.
oh, it was awesome for his career.
Class, fucking
Yeah, I wonder how
everywhere.
much pussy he got.
Yeah,
Residual. He got the Giant Gonzalez El Gigante
Dude,
leftovers.
we don't give Fonzie
No, he
enough
was the
credit,
star-
dude, for the shit. Like when I'm watching
Yeah,
like the WWF or like old school stuff I was watching the other night, I'm like, fuck, Fonzie was a ref in that match. God damn, Fonzie was the ref in that match.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
Fonzie's got
Flair,
bona fides.
Dusty. Oh, he was. I think he might have been the ref. It was might have been Dusty and Superstar that I watched.
He did a Flair match, I think, against
did it all.
Fujinami in Japan.
He was that in the dome.
In the Tokyo Dome and everything.
that's
So
good.
yeah, so Fonzie's got some bona
He's done a
fides.
couple in the dome.
Yeah, like Fonzie's got some real
He was
bona
the top
fides.
ref.
Yeah,
But if for everywhere else besides WWF.
yeah.
And
no.
then he comes to ECW and
And
just
my first thing is like, yo, Nancy, can this dude pull this shit off?
well, and you're just such a huge bad influence on him that. But you guys are.
Dude, I gave him Taz. I gave him Sabu. I gave him RVD.
I'm sure that was all your call.
Yeah, you were booking it then.
I'm the greatest booker ever.
All right, so we're all down to our final worst gimmick. Ollie, you go first here. What's your worst gimmick ever, in your opinion?
With the type of worker that this dude was, and his last name and everything, it's Stardust.
Man,
Giving Cody Rhodes that gimmick, I mean, for what he's done out of it and since then, is pretty amazing. But dude,
I think
that's as low as it goes.
I think he took that as like a chip on his shoulder to then motivate him to do everything that he's done.
Sure.
Especially when it got bad towards the end of Stardust. But man, it was bad. It was always
But I
bad.
think it's also kind of a slap in the face.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, you can't do this. You got to do this. And it's a
Right.
spin-off gimmick of what your brother did from
Right.
15
That's
years
the thing,
before.
It's like we've already seen Goldust, and you come out and you obviously know the brothers,
Right.
and you just make his brother the exact same kind of gimmick.
Right. After he
Like-
was already established as a singles himself. It was bad. And it was a complete miss. It did not work. And it was like the opposite of over. Like, it was really, really bad. And, yeah.
Was that 2012-ish?
Yeah, a little bit later than that, but yeah, around that time
I
period.
wasn't watching. So I don't even know if...
And it's especially with who Dusty was
Cody.
and who he meant to the business,
I've heard.
Well,
it's one thing getting Goldust and you make and Dustin makes it out of that
Well, Dustin,
he made it his own.
Yeah.
Dustin wanted to do the Goldust character to separate himself from his father's legacy of the business. As Dustin Rhodes himself, he felt like he was.
They've already ripped the shit out of his dad, putting him with the fat black lady, the yellow polka dots. Vince did everything, and Dusty's like, I don't care, I'll get it over.
And he did. He took it and ran with it, man. It didn't matter. All right, Ty, what do you got as your worst gimmick ever?
All right, I didn't necessarily have them like tiered or whatever, but this one is like super bad. I have Glacier.
Oh, I loved Glacier.
Made my top 7.
It made your top 7, Glacier.
Glacier on the sheer aspect of all the bells and whistles that went into trying to get that gimmick over.
Oh, they spent a lot of money and a lot of vignettes.
Like, right.
Hey, dude, he didn't know a wristwatch from a wrist lock.
Couldn't work a lick. Could not get, and like you said, spent a lot of money, spent a lot of everything on that gimmick to try and get it over, and it lasted, I don't know, 2 months or something like that. Just the fact that they did all that so bad to try and get that gimmick over, and it was still so horrible.
Yeah, they're going for like the Running Man kind of thing.
Mortal
Yeah,
Kombat.
it's like
Nah, Mortal
Yeah,
Kombat.
it's Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
You don't know what Mortal Kombat is,
Yeah, I
but
do.
what is it?
Well, you fight people.
There you go. I got it. Where
Okay,
fight
you
people.
can take context clues out of Mortal Kombat and say they fight.
Combat.
Yeah, it says combat. Yeah, like seriously.
Good job,
No,
Hack.
well, my point is, in the Running Man, fucking when it's Arnold Schwarzenegger, and he's got to beat these certain guys to stay alive and get to the end of the game.
Yes.
So that's got to be like Mortal Kombat, right? Toro Tanaka was the first guy fucking on ice skates.
I know the Running Man. It's a
Yeah,
great
you know what I
movie.
mean? So it's got to be
Yeah,
something like
yeah,
that.
yeah,
You just
you're
fight
fairly
people
there.
and you get to different levels.
Okay,
Yeah,
it's-
yeah, you're pretty much there.
You're pretty much there. Glacier did suck, but I kind of
But,
liked him as a kid.
Yeah, no shit.
I liked him.
We got
What year was the first Mortal Kombat game?
I want to say like
And
93.
what year is this? Because was I there?
Glacier was 96 or 97, I think, was his
Okay.
first.
Yeah, let's find out.
Yeah, I was gonna say like 94, 95.
Are
was
they
probably
late on this?
They are a little bit late for the. But Mortal Kombat was still big then. I want to say.
Mortal Kombat has still been
Dude,
big.
it just came back.
Yeah.
That's
The
what I'm
games,
saying.
one of the games just came out for it on PlayStation.
Yeah,
I know.
Yeah, because
I need to get it.
Yeah, I'm definitely trying to get it.
CJ plays it.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's
Buddies, I'm
it's
telling I call him like 10 o'clock at night. I'm like, what do you do?
Actually, I might buy it after we're done this. So
Mortal Kombat.
yeah,
What are we looking up?
finish him.
Yeah.
I'm looking up
Year.
what its
Mortal
initial
Kombat.
release was.
I want to say 93 or 94.
92.
93. Okay.
And so what year is this?
Glacier was 96 or 97 when he started. And
Dude,
yeah, it was-
the first Mortal Kombat movie when I was young, I was like, yes, this is the sickest thing ever. Liu Kang.
yeah, I love Mortal Kombat.
Oh, Luke Cage.
All right, my worst gimmick ever. My
You
worst.
gotta have mine.
No, I don't think I do. I'm gonna. Here we go, because I'm gonna go first because I want to make sure you don't have it.
Sandman.
It's not. I'm not gonna bury you. It's not. You're nowhere near as bad as the Yeti. Do you guys know the Yeti? Okay, the Yeti was in WCW for I want to say one appearance. It's a giant mummy. So Ron Reese
Oh yeah,
was a mummy in the World War III Battle Royal that they had, and there,
Forgot about that.
and there's a spot where he bear hugs. It's him and the giant, and they like bear hug and dry hump Hogan. It is the worst shit you have ever seen in your life. The Yeti.
But why is his name the Yeti if he's a big mummy?
I don't know. I can't explain anything of it to you. It was just
How
some.
bad the gimmick was.
It was just an all-time bad gimmick. The Yeti, absolutely horrible gimmick, and yeah.
Get on YouTube because I want you to watch what I'm going to say as the worst gimmick ever.
All right, Hack, you got yours. You're saying if I think
You know what it is.
I think I do know what it is because you're
go ahead
teeing
and
it
say
up.
it.
You talking about the Shockmaster?
Absolutely. So for a couple months they've been pushing this guy, but all you hear is his voice. It's like,
Yeah.
you know, and the voice sounds like it's like an alien or something. Not like an alien, like a lizard alien.
It's kind of like Yoda-ish.
It's whatever it is. And then the first time they break him out, this happens.
This is his absolute debut.
You guys got to YouTube this. I'm telling you, then you will agree with me 100% and say, I know exactly what I'm talking about when it comes to the worst gimmicks ever.
This actually happened on WCW television.
All right, that's his helmet that he's wearing.
All right, dude. This thing's 2 minutes and 30 seconds long.
All right,
This is Tugboat and Typhoon is Fred Ottoman, who portrayed the Shockmaster here, and it's absolutely the biggest botch in wrestling history.
So, imagine this: anybody that's listening, that you're in imagine your living room's like 15 feet long and like 10 feet wide. So there's Ric Flair, like maybe Arn Anderson,
Sting, Dustin Rhodes, Davey Boy Smith, and they're on a Flair for the Gold talk show.
Yes, and so it's kind
sad.
of like a Piper's Pit, you know what I mean, but a little bit bigger of a section. So 15 feet away from them, there's just this door standing there. There's no like wall, like a big wall around it or whatever, so it's just like a set-up door. So they introduced the Shockmaster that they've been pushing as the greatest thing ever for the last 2 months. It wasn't a door, it was a wall. It was a fake wall. He busts through the wall, falls down, his helmet comes off his head.
It was like
He gets up and stands there and starts mimicking the words that are going over the speakers.
yes,
What's his name again?
the Shockmaster.
Dude, and you can hear Flair say, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, Vicious was dying laughing.
It's the craziest thing ever.
Davey Boy Smith is like, "What the fuck?"
Because he appreciates that shit.
It's seriously he trips and falls, stumbles through the wall, and then
Listen to Flair.
it's
partner is, brother. You better cool down. Now you shut up. I'll cool down when I want to, Sting.
We got Sid Vicious. We got Harlem Heat out here.
yeah, you got them as
Did you
well.
act like you are?
I forgot about
On
the
the way there.
British Bulldog, Sting.
Tell everybody who your partner is. Well, do you want me to tell you what I'm talking? No, you shut up when I'm talking. What I did? What I did? Who our secret partner is? Don't you like him, Sting? Come on, baby. No, I am. Bishop, I am gonna let Sting tell the people who's the secret partner.
This is like
Just what happens next is amazing.
Our partner is going to shock the world because he is none other
you know what it
than
is?
the Shockmaster.
Here we go.
The Shockmaster.
It's the explosion.
oh my god.
This was live television on a Clash of the Champions, and just the money down the drain, embarrassment.
I don't care who you are, boy. I don't give a damn who you are.
It's just
Oh,
it's the
God,
biggest
that's
botch.
brutal.
It's the biggest botch in
The
history.
hell stands over and puts that
He's got a fucking stormtrooper.
But it's like bedazzled, and it's
Yeah.
like got glitter all over it. It's painted purple or whatever.
Dude, they're invested in this right now. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? This was like the big thing coming. I mean,
Well, he was gonna be
look
their-
how many people they got out there putting this segment over.
Yeah, he was going to be their partner in a War Games match for the future, and it was just. I mean, he ended up still being it, I believe. But man, what a
They
botch!
stayed right with the angle.
Well, they didn't keep the helmet on him, and they
Well, I was
put him in
gonna
like
say,
regular
if the helmet
clothing.
being that loose, how was he gonna supposed to work?
Right. No chin strap.
It was just awful booking, horrible character, horrible execution.
Imagine how he felt. Dude, this guy's been around the business, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
You know, is this the one that married Dusty's kid or
Yeah.
something related?
Yes.
Right? Over in Japan, well, look at his size. You can imagine how good he was over in Japan. But this guy knew exactly what was going on, and he's like, oh my God, is this really happening to me right now?
Yeah, I mean, he's made the most of it. He's gotten toys out of this now and stuff. Like, it's been a benefit to his career. Like, if people see him at signings and stuff, it's like, it's the thing that they kind of want.
Oh, dude, he's got to wear like a Shockmaster shirt because if he puts it over, you know what I'm saying?
Right. He's leaned into it over the years, so it's...
Yeah, I
it's
get me falling through onto the floor too. You know what I'm saying? With the helmet flying off, he's like giving a peace sign. Like, yeah, what up?
it's worked out to his benefit, but my God, what a fucking awful gimmick. So, all right, guys, we want you to send in your least favorite, worst gimmicks ever to sandmanpod@gmail.com. Let us know what you think of our selections as well. We also have our listener questions. As always, send in sandmanpod@gmail.com. Please leave a name as well as a town. That's one thing Hack always asks for these. So first up here, Mike from Northeast Philly writes in, hey, yo,
Hi, Mike.
Philly here. Were there ever plans to bring back Abdullah the Butcher to ECW? He only did a few shows at the end of 1993. Anything you can remember about Abby in ECW, Hack?
In where?
ECW, Abdullah the Butcher.
About bringing him back after.
No, I'll tell you a great story though.
Okay.
Tri-State Wrestling Alliance, which ended up being ECW, my very first time in McGonigal Hall,
Which is where?
which is right by Temple University
Okay.
on Broad Street in Philadelphia. Good job, Ty. So, so I'm down there and I go into the locker room and Ty's mom's with us. Peaches is with me. We go into the locker room and I'm talking to Joe Goodhart, which was the owner of the company then. So, and then I like go to put my bag down and and sit there. Abby calls Joel over and says to Joel, "Get these two the fuck out of here. I don't want them." He's taping his hands up with with
The gimmicks.
Protecting the,
And
yeah.
he's like, "No, these two jabronis are not sitting in here while I'm doing this."
Did you feel like he young-bulled you, or were you like, oh, that's so cool?
I didn't mind at all.
you understood.
No,
it's
yes,
Abby.
yeah.
It's a fucking legend.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
He young-bulled the shit out of you.
Yeah. I got bullied totally, like Bully Ray, bullied BJ, BB, or whoever it was.
That's awesome. Great question there, Mike. Heart Attack Rick from Mechanicsburg, PA writes
Hey.
in.
Rick!
What's up, my totally tubular, bodacious hackamaniacs? Rick back at it, still ticking away. I wasn't able to chime in last week with the AW Australia show because I don't have access to AW programming. I know, boo, hiss, hiss. Anyway, I did see a highlight
What do
reel
you
of
mean? What channel is AEW on?
TNT. I guess he doesn't have cable or something. I don't
Yeah,
know.
you might not have cable or access to the HBO, the Max or whatever.
I did see a highlight reel of Will Ospreay and Kenny Omega. All I can think of is this really surprised me.
The
to know you
match
guys-
was way better than that little whatever you just saw, dude. That match was like God.
It was awesome. He said Ospreay looked like a big giant cockboy douche coming out to the ring dressed up like the Eagles mascot Swoop. I was waiting for Ace Ventura to jump the guardrail from the crowd and start beating the shit out of him, yelling, "You cost me 25 grand, Polly."
Really?
Yeah. Anyway,
Alrighty then.
Anyway, on to my top 5 worst gimmicks in wrestling history. He had the Shockmaster at number 5, Mr. America at number 4. Hogan wrestling as Mr. America.
Oh,
It
with
was,
the hood on?
yeah, it was with the hood. It was a gimmick. It wasn't that bad. Oz at number 3, which we
Oh,
had.
wait, just so you know, Dusty would do that with the Midnight Rider.
Yes, he would. Back in the 80s. Yep. He had Oz at number 3, 7 at number 2. 7 was a Dustin Rhodes gimmick in WCW that was fucking horrible. I'll have to show you guys after the.
Is that the Phantom, John?
No. It's
The
7.
number 7?
Yes, and he kind of was like a pedophile. Basically, it was what it looked like. Horrible gimmick.
Well, that fits the society always.
But it's
Yo, dude, they're out there and it's crazy.
I believe you, Hack.
Freaking crazy, dude.
I'll take it he was a heel.
Don't let your kids be taken care of by anybody with family if you can help it.
His
You can't
number.
trust anybody.
His number 1 worst gimmick in history was Taz. Fucking unbelievable. Fuckwad midget. That's what he said.
Yeah, Rick.
That's what he said. He said.
Pandering at its best.
Yes. He said his question for this week, besides watching sports, what is everyone's favorite thing to do in their free time? Hack, what's your favorite thing?
Smoke dope.
Smoke dope. Ollie, he smoked dope.
He's pretty close to smoking dope, too.
Yeah, probably just smoke dope, sit out, watch sports.
Okay. Besides, we watch sports.
Yeah, chill with the dudes, watch
Yeah.
sports.
So much sport.
Yeah, we watch sports, Rick. Next up, Doug the Professor, the official historical expert of the Sandman podcast, writes in to the best podcast crew in the fracking business. Make sure you say it like Joe.
Fracking?
Make sure.
You Donald Trump fracking?
No, he said-
It's Fetterman.
No, he said make sure saying it like Joe Biden, it becomes funnier. And the presidential Royal Rumble winner would be William Howard Taft. That dude had to be like
Bully.
3 bills. That's what he
I
said.
think he said Bully Taft.
Bully Taft?
Yeah, and he was big. He was a big dude.
Yeah, okay, that was a
He was
suggestion.
round.
So you guys opened last week talking about the Hockey Classic. As a nerdy high school kid, I fell into hockey when there was one game a week on TV, ESPN's Hockey Night in America on Wednesday. So for 30 years, I've watched the sport go up and down.
USA, did he say?
What?
Did he say a channel?
On ESPN back in the day.
Yeah, hockey on ESPN.
I
That's
thought
what.
it was on
Yeah.
USA back then.
I won't waste words on the NBA. It's garbage to me and has been for a long time.
Yeah, hockey guys do say that.
Yeah, but we love both. Watch the interview with Shaq when he told the reporter on live TV that the commish fucks the fans out of their money. Hockey has always been a desired international flavor. I'm going to skip a little bit this.
God.
Russian pros weren't able to just come over here and play. The NBA parallel is Arenas Sabonis. Bill Walton said in his prime he'd have taken him over Michael Jordan any day of the week. By the time he got here, he was smoking like the Sandman in a strip club and eating Big
Arvidas
Macs.
Sabonis, that's my boy. I love Sabonis.
I saw Sabonis play as a kid against the Sixers.
Bill Walton,
Well, he was
against
on
Portland,
Portland,
yeah.
but those were like his later days. He was nasty.
He had a great hook shot.
He didn't come over to. He
was
didn't
in
come
his
over to the
30s.
NBA until like I would say probably 35-ish.
I don't know if he was that quite as old, but he was older.
Or like
Sounds about right there.
32, but no,
Yeah.
he was like
30s, definitely.
He was like the dude overseas. Oh, trust me, I love
Was that
Sabonis.
the
I know
dude-
all about him.
Wait, who's the dude that freaking Jordan and what's the name shut down in the Olympics?
Kukoc.
Okay.
Yeah, Kukoc was the one they had heat with. He also said, long story short, if you guys aren't fans, hockey has the best playoffs in all of sports. If you honestly commit some time and energy into watching, I think you'd be glad you did.
Half the teams
Oh,
in
no.
the league in 'em.
Dude, trust me. No,
I love hockey
I
playoffs.
didn't just like watch the Four Nations out of nowhere. Like we watch hockey. The Flyers, dude. I watch the Flyers. They're in like a rebuild right now. Everything's going on with that whole shit. The hockey.
5 points out of a playoff spot, baby.
Yeah,
There
we
you
are.
go.
We're working on it. We're playing Pittsburgh right now. Back to
Which,
we're
considering where we were, that's actually great. But
Well,
we
dude,
put
we
the
got-
right people in the right spots now. You know what I'm saying?
well, yeah, we're
Trying to
5
get
games
this
out of the
team
play,
going.
but we play in the Metro, and the Metro is like super stacked. Like we're in a shitty ass division where the whole teams are stacked and everything like that. But hockey probably is the best playoffs. I love watching.
I like
hockey.
the intensity of it because it has the same thing baseball playoffs do, where it's like at any moment the bad thing can happen to you as a fan base, or the great thing. So it's like that.
Well, dude,
you're riding that wire, man. You know that it's just tension.
Sure.
Yeah.
but hockey's a little bit different now. NFL playoffs,
As
like
in soccer, is it different than soccer?
Soccer's the same way too. I feel
Okay,
that way.
alright,
Yeah,
okay.
I feel the same way.
Baseball, you're hanging on every pitch, but like the up and down nature of hockey playoffs is not like baseball. Like baseball, every pitch could mean a win or a loss. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody could hit a home run. It could be that dramatic. But the fact that hockey's like so up and down and you're going back and forth, like it's crazy. If your hockey team on a penalty kill against Ovechkin in the playoffs is like the most nerve-wracking thing. That like he's just got his stick
dude,
wound
I'm
up
come
like
on, dude, how you gonna beat me?
yeah, seriously, it's like the most
do it.
nerve.
Get it
Yeah,
done quick.
I
like,
know
as a
you're going to do
Flyers
this in
fan,
the 2 minutes at some point. We'll just
Dude,
let it happen.
when your team.
What's the name yet?
Not
No,
yet.
he's
a couple
12
away.
or 13 away. He just had a
Okay.
hat trick the other night, and
Oh,
he's
he
got
did?
like he's got like
Nice.
he's like 12 or 13 away. But yeah, when your team's on a penalty kill in the playoffs, it's like the most nerve-wracking thing that you could possibly go through. I think.
Yeah,
Or
Like-
you're going into the third period down 1.
right. It's like if the hockey's great. I love hockey too, and the game. The
We
game
just
last
haven't had much
Thursday-
to fucking cheer about.
The game
the
last
past.
Thursday was awesome too. I mean,
Yeah.
it went into overtime. I mean, U.S. didn't win. That was a shame,
It would
but
be so much better if they played 4-on-4.
it would open it up. But I think it'd be a different game.
But well, yeah, it would be like the way Wayne Gretzky did it.
Yeah, but I think
You know
you're
what I mean?
I think
With
you're
Coffey,
altering the
Krasnodębski,
I think you're
Yarly,
altering the game too much if you do that.
Yeah. Up next is Pat from Ventura, California, by
Why
way
don't
of.
dudes just do like offsetting penalties like right away? Is there teams that do that just to get it to 4-4?
No.
Is that right?
Yeah, no, I've never seen that.
Somebody would do that.
Pat from Ventura, California, by way of Leominster, Massachusetts, writes in, had a rough start to 2025 on New Year's. I had some medical issues, so hope you're doing well, Pat. Certainly
All
hope
right,
you're
Pat,
doing good.
still alive?
Yep.
Yeah. I'm good now, and I've been keeping up with every episode and always cracking up and entertained.
Thank you.
Thank you, brother. Question for Hack and the
I
Gang.
am funny as shit, ain't I?
Yeah, you're hilarious, dude. Question for Hack and the Gang. What are your thoughts on the new WWE ID prospect program? WWE is now actively looking into the independent circuits and is signing young talent, which I think is awesome. I've seen a few of these new WWE ID wrestlers, and they're pretty badass. Philly Build, Marcus Mathers is an awesome worker. I've seen him a few times now. What are y'all and Hack's thoughts on the new WWE ID prospect program? Hack, what do you think about it?
I don't know all the intricacies of it. So
It's
do
kind
you?
of weird
they're
to
trying
me.
to take over and build a whole brand on television from anybody from the lowest levels in the United States or India or Mexico.
Well, they just made their new like WWE like independent belt
Yeah,
or whatever that they
have
just
independent
made.
belts.
Dude, they're
and-
making a whole other brand.
And I'm actually shocked.
Third, fourth, fifth brand.
Whatever, yes.
And I was with Todd the other day, and Todd actually told me that like going to searching for like the people for the independent belt, like they didn't even actually go to the Monster Factory, which I'm actually shocked. Todd told me the other day. But I don't know all the intricacies of like the ID circuit and everything that's going on there, but I mean WWE is taking pretty much what AEW did and just making it their own and better.
No, what I think they're going to do is in every freaking country, like
It doesn't have anything to do with the countries.
I know, but listen to me. Like I said, freaking, that's why they're gonna put belts on people that are in Europe and then go do pay-per-views there because of Netflix and they're all over the place. So they'll take those Netflix numbers and they'll get them down to where are our hot spots. All right, there's one here in India, there's one here in Japan, and they're gonna go start what we're watching right now there.
Okay, I know what you're saying
exactly
there.
What they're gonna
They're
do.
taking what AEW is doing and
I
they're
don't
just
know
making
what
it
you meant
bigger.
by AEW doing.
They're allowing people to go to different promotions and run indies and take their belts and like Mercedes Moné's got like 5 different belts. Like they got the Young Bucks with belts over in Japan, and they got other people like stuff doing that. They're basically taking their idea and just kind of doing something else and making it their
They're
own.
doing a show all over the planet. I'm telling you, there's going to be a Hindu freaking champion freaking soon.
Jinder Mahal's coming back.
Who knows where it's going?
There
but
you go.
it's a wild ride.
Who was the big one? Wasn't there a real?
Great Khali.
No, I thought there was another guy that was.
The modern day Maharaja?
Yeah, Jinder Mahal.
Jinder Mahal, that's what I
Jinder
said. Jinder
Mahal.
Mahal's coming back.
Is that the dude like
He's
7 foot?
no, that's the Great Khali you're thinking of.
No, I'm thinking about another dude.
Another
Must not be
giant. Oh, you talking about the guy from AEW? He was in AEW.
Yeah, what the hell is his name?
I'm drawing a blank. He's
I
with
saw
Jarrett and those
so
guys.
am I.
And
I
God,
can't think of his name.
why am I drawing a
Alright,
blank? Next up here, hold on a second.
Jinder
Yep.
Mahal from India.
Jinder Mahal writing it. No. Next up here,
Great Khali.
Kevin from Dayton, Ohio writes in, to the Sons of Sand, the hardcore icon, and the John Candy of wrestling podcasting.
What do you want?
Great
Which
AEW.
one's the John Candy?
I think he's calling me the John Candy of wrestling. It was a joke.
Seriously?
Heck, that was my joke back to you.
I know, that's why I ripped you on it.
Okay.
The uncle,
Okay.
The double.
The double down.
the
Okay.
Uncle Buck of
The uncle. Yeah, you could say I keep it a buck.
Get your
glizzy and smoke.
Yeah,
that we pull out all the time.
I like it. I'm fine.
That's a great idea.
I keep it cool running. So I mean, yeah,
like me,
absolutely.
Todd, and Franny did with Freebie and the Bean and the other dude. We just keep calling them different freaking.
Oh, Ren and Stimpy, you mean?
Yeah.
Great AEW recap last week. If they actually go with Tyler's booking of Christian over Edge after Edge beats Mox, sorry, the rated R Cope, who should take the belt off of Christian? Thanks as always, guys. So you're saying if they end up doing the double over to Christian and Christian's got the belt, who do you guys want to take the belt off of Christian?
Who's House?
Swerve's house. I mean, Swerve's never wrong answer. He's never a wrong
I was going to
answer.
say him.
He's never a wrong answer. Like, I think they need to get back to Swerve in their main events.
Yeah, like in my head when you asked it, I was like, Swerve right away. And then my brain went to, well, does anybody else make any sense to me right now? You know what I mean?
I mean, you could always go Osprey eventually, but I don't know. Swerve to me is great. I want him back in the title picture too. So,
I think. Sorry, I didn't.
No,
mean to cut you off.
I know that like the Swerve Ricochet match for their pay-per-view coming up is now a number one contenders match. So that kind of
I'm just trying.
they made that last night. So
What is it?
We see Swerve Moxley? Is that what
we could, if you keep it on Moxley, it will be Swerve Moxley. But if you
What's
do
the number one contender? Swerve and who?
Swerve and Ricochet is going to be a number one contenders
For the
match.
heavyweight?
Yes.
You know they're going to tear the house down with that match.
Oh, totally.
I mean, they might do too much, but
It's going to be great.
There's a lot of repeat matches on the Revolution.
ton of rematches. So I don't know. They have a lot of stuff.
But we're speaking in hypotheticals right now. So if it were to go to Christian, you say Swerve, Ali, Tosh.
I'm with you on Swerve. I think it's his time again. I do.
Yeah.
Hacks with Swerve
I
too.
know that's what I would like, but I don't think they would dare do it.
I think they
I think
would.
that's them. I think that's them saying, "Well, how long has it been since he had the belt? Not a year, maybe."
Well, he lost it to Brian at All In, so
Okay,
it's less than a year.
You really think they booked that out for him to lose it and then gain it back in less than a year? That's why I can't go with him, but I would like that.
Yeah,
But I think Moxley is going to keep
for a
everything.
while. Okay.
I
Yeah,
think
and I always thought that.
I think you put it right back on Edge.
From Christian.
Or Cope.
Yeah, Cope. Sorry.
Yeah,
Cope.
yeah.
The Rated R Superstar Cope.
Yeah, I think that is where you could do that, and then
He looked good.
He did.
He looked really
he can be their champion right now.
I mean, he looks like he's good. It's like the change in his body and shit. You know what I'm saying? And the work rate. That's all making me think that yes, he's getting ready to roll.
The only thing that's throwing me off.
You know, like let me get my shit together for this.
Yeah, the only thing that's throwing me off the cycle is Danielson.
Oh God.
Well,
And-
I think he's done. I mean,
No. I'm saying like he's got to get his one up on Moxley at some point.
eventually
Yeah.
come back for the one off.
Right.
That'll be after Moxley's lost this belt.
And I'm not saying. No,
I think you're right, Hack.
I don't.
Or is Danielson the reason Moxley loses?
He does a run in, chokes him with the bag.
That's kind of.
Oh. So Moxley has a place to roll right out of the
No,
match.
No. Danielson puts Moxley out so Moxley can take a powder for 6 months.
Whoever takes out Moxley and beats Moxley needs to do it clean in the ring with no
I
interference.
agree 1,000%.
Because Moxley's
well, I want everyone to be like that.
but Moxley's ran over everybody.
Well, and I'm
he
not.
needs to get run over when he loses, is what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and
You know, he choked out.
Right.
They have no problem doing a finish like that.
He's got to drop it when he drops it. It can't be some bullshit
it's like,
fuckery.
fuck out.
He's got to drop it. That's why I don't want to see him do the Christian stuff.
No, I understand you. That's why the whole Danielson thing is like throwing a wrench in my entire like. Because I don't think Danielson's gonna like come back and like beat Moxley for the belt, but he's and I don't think he can just screw him over for the belt because that's
cheap.
Yeah, right. So, but he's got to come back for Moxley. He's got to come back for them. So I don't know, and I don't think Moxley can lose the belt and Danielson come back for Moxley and it mean that much. I think Danielson's got to come back for Moxley when he's the champ.
Okay.
And I don't
It's
even
just
know
my
Moxley,
opinion.
but-
And then Danielson win the belt again?
Bro,
I don't.
God,
no, he's never going to be full time again. So you can't have
Well, you
him.
can't bring him back to have him lose.
He's got to beat Moxley when he comes back and wrestles Moxley. Yes, but so I agree with Hack's point that it can't be for the title.
I know,
Oh,
but I just don't think it has the same steam if he
It
doesn't
does.
have the belt.
I mean, it really doesn't. But
it's a
That's
personal.
right.
It's
That's
a
what-
personal issue. I don't
right,
know.
that's why-
I'll tell you.
I think I get what you're saying.
But what's
I-
more personal
I
than
get what you-
causing them to lose the belt or taking it from them?
I don't know. To me, I think Moxley would be the kind of dude be like, beat me.
I'll tell you what though.
Oh, yeah, I agree.
AEW for the first time
And I
in a
think
while.
if there's anybody that has a weight in that situation, It's him.
Or Danielson takes it from Moxley and then Christian cashes in.
Okay.
So Danielson doesn't have to. So Danielson doesn't have to carry it.
Oh, is that even possible?
Sure, anything's possible. What I want to say though,
Give me the pencil.
what the interesting thing I want to say is AEW for the first time in a while has us fantasy booking, which is what you ultimately want fans to do. You want fans to see a direction and then kind of guess where it's going to go. So I will say, Kevin, good question, and we'll keep following this one.
Yeah,
and,
your first best question in what, like over a month?
It's over a month with all those Eagles hate.
And actually, it seems like the lead up to this Revolution pay-per-view, we actually have like our clear, concise storyline for every match on the card. Like,
Yeah.
we know where everybody
Oh,
stands.
there's always so many ways. So what's the most that can happen in their championship?
I'm just saying to get everything back balanced because they were so cluttered for a while. It's
Yeah.
like, all right, everyone knows where we're at right here.
I agree.
We have all of our blow-off matches here.
Excuse me.
Let's go on a new direct. Like, we can all get on a new
What are the
direction.
Young Bucks doing?
They're not involved
They're not
yet in
in
AEW.
So that's why I asked you.
Oh, good theory there.
know,
Oh,
Give him the pencil.
give him the pencil. Give him the pencil.
No, don't give me the pencil, but I know when there's too many fucking cooks in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Well, that's probably why the booking's been so good because the Young Bucks been out of the picture.
Who knows? Who knows? But great question. As always, send us in questions to sandmanpod@gmail.com. Next week on the show, we are covering WWE's Elimination Chamber from Toronto, Canada. Oh, wow. Big elimination. I know this episode's going to come out.
Is our boy going to be there? Smoking on that green grass?
No, he's in Vancouver. He ain't going to be. Chris ain't going to be
Well,
there
I
at the
didn't know
chamber.
if he was going to take the walk, you know?
He was going to walk all around this green grass.
Did he start walking?
He's going to be there at Mania.
Chris, freaking please tell me they just had freaking. Oh, I gotta tell you about the earthquake.
Earthquake in Vancouver.
Yeah, they just had an earthquake in Vancouver in the last couple days.
Really? I was talking to him the other day. I got to ask him.
5.2. 5.2 on the Richter. I want to know if he felt it at all where he was.
I will.
Or did you just think you were high?
Oh, drop my soda.
Wait, the ground's shaking, or am I really stoned?
Chris, we'll have to hit you up and we'll see about that one. Hack, before we go, the cane of the week or the toast of the week?
Dude, I'm so disgusted. I can only give a cane of the week to the Sixers.
Okay, Sixers. There you go.
Yeah, that's a season-long cane of
Yeah,
the
we'll,
week.
we'll keep bitching about this off air. Take care, guys.
10 lashes.
Peace.
Ain't it foggy outside?